push. Keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going. Come on. 200k.
Nuke. Go.
Come on. 100k.
Oddio.
Do it.
Kill it. 50k. Come on. 20k. No fucking. Yes!
God damn it! Holy fuck!
Fanculo. Oh my fucking god. Holy shit, I'm the only one alive.
Get the
Holy shit.
Welcome everybody to MogTalk episode 146. Today is Saturday, June 16th, 2018. And today we are talking about the ultimate fight with the world first team from Entropy. Now, if you guys haven't seen MogTalk before, it's a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community discussing everything from Savage Raiding to Chocobo Racing. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun today. We have 7 of the 8 members. Unfortunately, the 8th was a little bit too good for this show and decided that he didn't want to come. So we're kind of just dealing with that right now. But before we start, I want you guys to all know who is on the show. And I'm just going to go down the list, I guess alphabetically here. So Aya, you want to take it away? Say hi, guy.
Hello.
All right. Then we got Ayessa.
Hey guys.
And then we have Leaf.
Hello.
And then Rafter.
Hello?
And then you kind of said that like you're lost. You're like, hello?
Hello.
All right, Vox. You did
Hello?
it. All right, there we go.
What's up?
We'll get to that. Am I saying that right, by the way?
Yeah, it's fine. Hello, everyone.
Okay. Zep.
Hello.
There we go. So you guys know everybody's voices now. So the people who are listening to this on the podcast instead of watching it live can kind of relate it a little bit better to people's voices. I'm sure you guys will all forget. But it's been an exciting week. We had the first clear 5 days after the release of the content, which is much faster than UCOB. But we have a lot to discuss about that in general, too. Before we get started too much, there's one topic that has exploded over the last couple of days. And it's like a war between the casual and hardcore players within Final Fantasy XIV, which seems ridiculous to me, but we're going to talk about it anyways. First, congratulations, you guys, world first Ultima. You guys worked really hard. You had a really solid team. Now, you guys are most likely not going to have a third fight. So, how do you guys feel about that? Tell me your emotions. Just go ahead and start letting this stuff out.
At least we won the one that matters.
Oh, shots fired.
The one that matters. All right.
Well, we can slack for the next year and a half without having to defend our title, right?
Yeah, it's true. You guys will not have another ultimate contender for quite a while. So we're gonna put this in two different perspectives here. Ultimate has done a lot for the community. It has pretty much basically jumped Final Fantasy XIV to the top handful of games on Twitch every time it gets released. It gets a lot of attention for the game. A lot of people watch it kind of like a spectator sport just because they can't go in there and do it themselves. There's a lot of people who do the content. Then there's the other side where people just don't care. It's just content that's dead to them. It takes a lot of development time. So when they play the game, they feel, I guess, maybe they have less stuff than they would have if Ultimate didn't exist. And I think that's the only argument I can find for not having a third ultimate, right?
The argument against that is, though, that they squished the difficulty of the normal Savage Raid, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, so let's go into a whole world. Let's just say there is no ultimate at all throughout this entire expansion. Are you guys still playing this game?
Yeah, I will still be playing this game.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I wouldn't go for World First if I didn't enjoy it.
True. Okay. So you guys...
I would still play it. It would be very disappointing, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of strange. I didn't see this news until I looked at Twitter, and I saw everybody being really upset about it. And so, if there is no World First coming, basically, so this is not World First. I'm sorry, Ultimate Fight coming. When they released this, we were happy. We're like, praise Square Enix. Thank God Square Enix is doing this. This is the best thing they've ever done, the best fight they've ever made, the best type of fight they've ever made. And this is wonderful. And then as soon as they said they're going to stop doing it, we all turn on them and we want to kill them, basically, is some of the tweets that I saw. Do you guys feel like that right now?
You can't give someone a shiny new toy and then like take it away, right? Like, I don't know.
I guess so. It's like giving... I feel like this fight is crack.
Yeah.
They are literally giving us crack to enjoy and have fun with, and we know more crack's coming. But as soon as we find out there's no more crack coming...
Now we're addicted.
That we're out stabbing people and eating people's faces, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Leaf is so on board with what I'm saying. I love this.
I just like crack.
I think there was this JP comment that summed up the situation really good. It said like, why are they not releasing an ultimate in that time frame where usually nothing happens and like where it's usually the longest time between a patch and the next expansion, which is 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if they had released, let's imagine like the hardest ultimate of the three, like if we had three, like harder than Ultima and harder than UCOP, I think that would have been really good for the game because you would create a big hype on the final patch of the expansion, and then you can create an even bigger hype on top of that for the next expansion. So you have like a lot of Twitch viewers, and then immediately afterwards you can release the expansion. I think that's smart, like a way smarter move than what they're doing now.
Yeah, well, I agree. That's kind of the mindset I had when I saw this happening. I was like, okay, the last patch is going to be a really hard fight that people are going to progress on. And so, what's Final Fantasy XIV supposed to be known for? Is it supposed to be known for its raiding scene? Is it supposed to be known for glamour? I mean, who are they selling to? If they leave it on a really hard fight, the excitement for getting into Final Fantasy XIV's fights in a next expansion is just boosted that much more. So it doesn't make any sense for them to decrease the value of what Final Fantasy XIV can produce by not having that as an active advertisement going into the next expansion. All right.
To me, having no third ultimate is sad because so far in Stormblood, like waiting has felt like a bit of a compromise between Square Enix and the hardcore audience.
Mm-hmm.
Because from their perspectives, they've been getting away with making really easy wait tiers, and in exchange, we get this one fight to have fun with in between the wait tiers. And if they keep up the same sort of difficulty from Deltascape and Sigmascape, where you basically have two fights as difficult as Extreme Primals, and then a last fight that just loops halfway into the fight and doesn't do any new mechanics. And that last wait here is not going to be very satisfying to play for like 8 months, if nothing else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys have a sprint, right? Hey, who do we lose? Who left here?
Spencer, I think.
Oh my god. What
Probably disconnected from connection lost.
What a
Probably
douche.
just daily IP reset, whatever he has.
I mean, I guess we'll just see what they do. I think enough backlash. That's the other thing Square Enix is kind of known for, right? If people rebel enough, they're gonna say, "All right, you're right. We're just gonna do it." But I guess the bad thing about this is that we kind of have an idea that they don't currently have anything planned for it, so they have to start working towards that and make that content starting today or whenever they decide, "Hey, we made a mistake. We need to start making this fight." But I think if we just keep going at it and saying, "Hey, Square Enix, this is a bad decision. Do you want it? We all want this fight to be here. There's just a handful of crazy people for some reason that don't want the content to be." So back to that interview question. It said that people said having 2 ultimates felt too rough. Is that exactly what it said? I feel like I need to go back.
I think it did, yeah. But, I mean, isn't that mainly the casuals that are speaking from their perspective? I mean, Ultima is not, in theory, made for them, right? Like, it's made for the hardcore raiders that enjoy difficult fights compared
Yeah,
to
the casuals
standard.
are not even doing it even if there was only 1 ultimate per expansion, I think most casuals wouldn't do that anyway. So I don't know why they would say that if anyone said that.
Even from their perspective, like, why would they be upset that there's more content to do, even if they haven't killed the current content yet? Like, what is this logic?
Yeah,
exactly.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, they're working towards raid. I guess maybe they don't want to do raid content, and so they want to Final Fantasy 14 team not to put a focus on raid content. I mean, if they're progressing through it and they do enjoy raid content, they wouldn't mind that there's an Ultima in there.
Do you not get the feeling that they have no idea what to actually make a fight about? Like, they just have no ideas, like, for the fight itself and what to make. Instead, that's the feeling I get anyway.
You think that's it? They just don't know what they should do for the third one?
Well, what are they going to do? Are they just going to rehash another fight and flesh it out with mechanics again, or are they actually going to come up with something truly unique?
They could. Why not? All right.
It's the time. Like, if nothing's planned currently, do they have enough time up until 4.5 to make it? That's the question.
I mean, why can't they just make the last raid tier, like, last longer? Like, even though it's hard, like, the casuals will eventually clear it anyway, so they have all the time to do the expansion regardless. I don't see why they just don't make another Midas level tier to end on, if they have no plans for Super Savage.
Leaf, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, like, the people have had from creator to now on this, like, joke. I'd call it a joke level. To be honest, the raid, like the normal Savage raid. I don't know if the sudden jump to a Midas level raid for the people that are comfortably clearing these new raids, I don't know if that would be too much and they'd receive backlash from that as well. Sure.
You got a pretty good point there because it'd be such a steep climb. I mean, that's kind of what happened with Gordius, right?
Yeah.
Just go back to creator level. Even that was harder than Sigmascape.
Is it, you think? Maybe for you guys it was.
Yeah, maybe.
Leaf, by the way, how do you feel about Summoner being such a vital part of UWA?
I mean, I thought Yoshi was supposed to be a black mage, but I don't know, he keeps making these fights with lots of targets in them. I don't know. Pretty good. I like it.
It's pretty funny. Like, I was expecting there to be a lot more, like... So, a lot of groups actually cleared with 3 ranged.
Yeah.
I guess we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's talk about that a little bit later when we start actually getting into the fight. Which we can do. I feel like we kind of went over the whole 3rd tier thing for a good portion now. We can kind of skip past that and come back to it if we really need to. But let's talk a little bit about the fight itself, which is kind of what you guys, are here for, right? Yeah?
I'm here.
I assume so.
I'm gonna sit there. If you guys give me any awkward silences, I'm just gonna sit there and make it more awkward. Just to let you know. I'm gonna do everything I can.
Honestly, it's your show. I think you are losing if we are just saying nothing for a minute.
It's my fault. No. Okay. All right. Look. Let's talk about the fight. Let's talk about the most important part of the fight. Let's talk about the mechanics, and kind of how you guys experienced that throughout the race. I mean, we could kind of combine a couple of things here, a couple points. The very first thing that happened during the raid tier was that people discovered the woke mechanic and kind of how that played a part in killing Ultima. So when your team found that out, how long did it take you guys to find out about the woke mechanic?
I think like a day, right? When we got there.
I think a bit less, like, I don't know,
By the
8
end,
hours, 10 hours.
by the end of the first day, we were at woken Ifrit charges. So, I mean, a lot of people have asked this question, like, how long did it take you to figure out the woke mechanic? But I don't think any of us were really making notes on that first day.
The thing with the first day was there was this realization that if you do the primals, the unwoken version, I was disappointed when we got to La Habrea and saw the blight and we were trying to work out what it was. Getting to that point wasn't hard, and it didn't take very long to do. And me personally, I was really disappointed. So then when we found out that you had to awaken them, that G'd me up. I don't know. I was really excited when we found out.
Yeah, I think this was like for everyone in the group that like finishing Garuda, Ifrit, then Titan. Everyone was like, we're already 9 minutes into the fight. This can't be real, right? Like we can't be finishing this fight in 2-3 days. No way. And then when you actually go back and you're like, okay, hold on, what if we actually have to like give Garuda those stupid stacks, and then you try that and she does like this new text line and does completely new mechanics. You're like, holy shit, they did not actually do this. They did not pull this off. And then we're like, they did actually pull this off. It was pretty good.
So I guess the better question is, how long until you figured that point out where you're like, okay, we have to start doing this is part of the game, not like progressing into waking primals and everything else, but figuring out that is part of the fight. Was that like the whole day?
The first thing we did naturally was trying to get past the Doom in some way, because not just the Doom gets applied, but you also get reduced to 1 HP. So the first thing you think of is we have to get like chopped off again before it wears off, or we have to get shielded for the damage, or we have to do like whatever. One thing we tried was we tried like everything. And one thing we tried killing off a healer, raising him, and then after the Doom kills everyone, he would healer LB everyone. And fun fact, the Doom getting applied gets rid of any active raise debuffs, so it doesn't work. So afterwards, we were looking at what else could be done in this fight, and we already knew how to give Garuda a stack, so we just did that like 4 times, and suddenly Garuda awakens, and we're like, oh shit.
Okay. And so it was just pretty much, all right, we got it.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
The big question was still going to be, how do we awaken Titan? Because we had no clue about that until we woke up on day 2 and someone else had done the work for us.
Is that why the whole raid scene just kind of shut up? Like, that's one of the biggest things I noticed is right after the woke mechanic, no one posted anything.
No, it's because the streamers started getting walled by the woken primals, I think, and stopped making progress.
Okay. So you think the whole woke, even the woke part of that was just streamers? That wasn't anything to do with World First leaking stuff or like World Prog teams leaking stuff?
I think generally the pace in the first day was fairly similar between the prog groups and the stream groups. Like we were probably a little bit ahead, like reaching La Habrea and then having multiple pulls on La Habrea where we tried everything under the sun to survive the Doom without healer LB. But we had a pretty short first day, I think. Went to bed pretty early, and then when we woke up, the groups that had gone for a long time, like extended hours on day 1, had sort of worked some extra stuff out for us.
Okay.
The thing was, I think we stopped after 12 or 13 hours. One guy, I think, couldn't continue raiding.
Oh yeah, that's true.
One guy felt sick.
Ate too many watermelons, I think.
What?
And the other thing is that our powerful Dark Knight DC'd in the first day, and then he had to go to a different place.
Was waiting like your dad's place after?
Yep, pretty much.
Jesus. So you guys actually had a lot of trouble. If this was a shorter fight, you guys would have been fucked.
Most likely.
I guess they
Raptor's
won.
internet was amazing this prog.
I don't know if that's sarcastic or if that's
He has to
true.
buy a new house.
Yeah, my fucking ISP was trolling me like the entire week almost.
Do you
We
think
had
it was your
the-
ISP or do you think it was some secret DDoSer?
Who the fuck's
Both,
gonna
maybe.
DDoS him? He fucking sucks.
All those violent destruction fans, right?
Maybe.
So, just for people who don't know, since we talked about it a little bit, how exactly do you awaken Titan?
You have to place the bombs, the jails in a line with the one that drops down in the safe spot when he knocks you back. And each one spawns a sludge, which detonates the next jail, so like a daisy chain kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you need the jail sludge to reach Titan, since he doesn't move at that point. And when he's stood in it for so long, then he gains stacks over time.
So he just gains stacks by standing in sludge.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that was probably, you think, the most difficult awaken mechanic that you guys saw out of the three?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, the most to figure out, I'm sorry.
and also
kind
to
of.
execute, to be honest.
like Ifrit and Titan only have those, like Ifrit only has the nails and Titan only has the bombs, right? So you just needed to figure out how to, do you know what I mean? Like the pieces are already there, you just needed to like put the puzzle together.
I think
Yeah, it's
the
not like
problem-
we had dedicated a load of brain power to try and working it out yet. It's just that it wasn't as intuitive as the other ones. Like Garuda, you kind of see the stack happen naturally during progression, and same with Ifrit. As soon as you hit one of the nails with an eruption AoE, kind of, or with two eruption AoEs, you kind of see how it works. But with
Mhm.
Titan, it was less obvious.
Also, fun fact, I just checked our VOD, and it's pretty much 8.5 hours in that we awoken Garuda and figured that out.
Okay.
Probably like 8 hours, considering that Rafter went AFK for 30 minutes. So yeah, just
Do you guys,
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
right in.
if you guys would have lost, would you have blamed Rafter?
no.
Yeah.
Hell no. I was
Depends on
fucking
how much
carrying
we
the last
lost
phase.
by. If we lost by an hour, then maybe.
Okay.
No.
I'd blame Raptor. He was pretty bad. I don't know.
Excuse me?
Like we can get onto another conversation about intermissions and LB. And
I mean, you guys had a 12 hour lead, I think. So you guys were pretty cozy with that last clear. And then after that, it was over a full day from the third clear. So you guys did really well. JP didn't clear for 3 days almost after you guys cleared, which
yeah,
is
what
crazy.
about the super group?
Well-
What happened to them?
Yeah, I was worried about that. You know, there are rumors that the super group cleared like 5 minutes after you guys cleared, but then they just deleted everything and, didn't post anything and didn't.
Yeah, like you do, right? Like you do.
I mean, given that there was an official tweet on the Final Fantasy Twitter
Mhm.
that listed Elysium as number 2, I don't think there was a secret JP clear.
What if?
Yeah.
Hold on. What if they actually got to like 0.1%, and then they saw our tweet and they were like, "Okay, fuck this," and then just swiped and suspended?
I think that might have been it. You're right, Zep. You got it.
Yeah, that definitely
That's
happened.
the timeline.
Yeah,
Good job, Sam.
yeah. Super group. They take first or nothing at all, man.
Yeah, and they don't have
I
a
mean,
name.
that's exactly what the UCOP team said as well, right? Like
Mhm.
they said, we either take first or we instantly disband. That's what they said in the interview.
Did they? That's,
Yeah.
you know what they can do? They can go fuck themselves. How about that?
Jesus Christ, man. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys are not too cool for school here, and You guys would have still reported you're clear afterwards if that was the situation. All right, so Awaken the Primals. How do you guys feel about the style of fight, right? Creating a puzzle at the beginning, things that are just not really obvious. I mean, you're not trying to put together the mechanics in the safest way possible. You're just trying to figure out how to make the mechanics work. Do you guys enjoy that type of fight?
I think
I
it's
would say
great from the perspective of like it gives us more to do as people doing progression, and it makes the fight slightly easier for people who want to come in afterwards and get a clear once the strategies have been worked out.
So that's a yes from everybody, I'm guessing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
This fight was way more enjoyable than Ultima Kyle's progress, at least in my opinion anyway.
I think multiple times during prog we always like went with this approach of like saying, okay, we are basically trying to solve a puzzle here, so let's just approach it like that and then find a way how to do this. Jakob was more like everything was being thrown at you directly, like you couldn't even dodge stuff. Like basically, like okay, the dive bombs you had to dodge, but like things were directly on you, and you had to like figure out how to deal with them, like healing wise, mitigation wise, and whatnot, like stacking, coordination, and Ultima is more like, yeah, it's a puzzle. You have to solve it. You have to find the correlation, and you have to figure out how to dodge stuff.
Fun fact about the puzzle and figuring out later mechanics. If you did the mechanics correctly in previous phases, you would know how to do some of the later mechanics, i.e. suppression. And I saw some definitely interesting suppression methods used by some groups. So,
which groups are you talking about in particular?
Oh, I mean, take your pick. Holy shit. Some stream groups doing it right now. Where they like fucking go around in a circle, hit a jail, and then God.
And then pray that they don't get blown up by a laser.
Like the tether blowing the feathers away. The reason why most people didn't know about that is because you don't wake Garuda up early, right? The standard strat is to wake her up later on, so you don't actually see that mechanic play out. If you did it properly, you would know that that's how it worked.
Which is what they said. They expected people to awaken Garuda a lot earlier than they have, right?
Well, it also takes another step. Not only do you have to awaken her early to get those spinning feathers, but you also have to do the mechanic correctly in reference to not using a tank ultimate there. So you have to go and take the tether with one stack, which should drop the feathers.
Yeah, so we were awakening Garuda early for quite some time until we saw that there was an easier late awakening strat. But even so, we didn't figure out how to properly get rid of the feather lances since we were using tank immunities for the meso high tethers.
Yeah, we actually didn't figure out the meso high tethers until like I don't know. There was no reason to really figure them out day
one.
Why
didn't we figure it out?
I mean, just because it was so easy to invuln them.
Because Rafter wanted to pop Living Dead and run around like a fucking idiot. That's why we didn't figure it out.
You wanted to be the man who saves the raid.
So we actually only changed that part a lot later when we knew the interaction with the one stack. And before then we were awakening Garuda earlier, so we didn't even know that you could do the 2-stack to wake her late. Which is kind of why we didn't like do the feather lances even while doing the early woke.
Would you guys say that was like one of the last big walls besides just like a DPS check in general is figuring out that mechanic?
No, the orbs that come after was I guess I won't call it a wall, but it definitely took like we had to go through VODs to look and see what possibilities to actually make them. Because we had some pulls where the orbs were apart, but we couldn't figure out exactly why or how they were until we put 2 and 2 together that it was who got hit by which orb in one of the previous phases. Like that mechanic itself is really good as well.
So overall, fight's great, right? Wonderful fight, perfect fight.
Yeah, I think it's the best they've made.
It's not
last
perfect. There's
phase. No.
some certain flaws in the Ultima phase, I think.
The forced push at 50, I don't think is good game design whatsoever. But
That's terrible.
Okay. Do you guys feel... Well, let's talk a little bit... We talked a little bit about Primals. Let's talk a little bit more about Ultima itself. I guess, like, when we're talking about going through the Primals and doing the transitions, it wasn't crazy, right? They just kind of make their whole arena pop up. I know we were talking a little bit about how we were hoping when Titan knocked you off that you would just be dead forever. Are you guys kind of disappointed about that not being a thing in the fight?
I think they could have done it, but I don't think I'm disappointed about it.
Okay.
I think Titan was done pretty well. Like we didn't need the like permadeath mechanic in there.
Okay.
Might have made it a lot harder, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Like we wouldn't have cleared on our kill run if there was permadeath on Titan, but
I gotcha.
yeah, I don't think we needed it because Titan is pretty good.
Do you feel like each of the
Pretty
Primals
well made.
were represented properly within their mechanics and how where they are in the fight, I guess?
Yeah, once you woke them, for sure.
I think Ifrit was a bit dull, but the other two seemed good.
Okay. You guys all think Ifrit was a little dull?
Yeah,
Yep.
he also has the worst
Yeah.
music by far.
Oh,
Yeah,
come on.
Ifrit is the worst.
No, he does. When you've heard
Ifrit
the
makes your ears bleed as well on that part just before the charges. That's really bad.
there's like this dial-up tone thing in the soundtrack, and I don't know, like people who've done it will know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, 80 hours of that and getting to Ifrit every pull, and it's just like you want to, yeah, I don't know. You want to just turn your sound off, but you can't because you need the audio cues.
Mm.
I think one of the things about Ifrit is that the chain mechanic felt it a bit under, like it didn't really do anything other
yeah,
than
that
lowering
part was pretty
damage.
dumb.
It didn't seem particularly dangerous though.
And also,
was-
Ifrit doesn't cleave properly with his claw attack, right?
I'm actually rather glad it doesn't.
I was gonna elaborate on the like sound effects thing because I've heard from multiple people that during this fight that they just cut out completely, like it happened to us as well.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah,
Like
when
you
Garuda
either get full sound goes or the cue for the Garuda feathers, you know, the AoE which leaves a dot
Mhm.
on you, they'll just disappear completely. Won't work.
So there's just like
Pretty
little
good.
slight bugs throughout the fight, I guess.
Yep.
I mean, it does feel kind of like an experimental type of design for the fight. So, I mean, I can expect there to be a few bugs in there, I guess. I can't be too disappointed with it. But, I mean, same thing with like A6S, right? That was one of those experimental kind of boss after boss fight, but there are so many little glitchy things that happened within that fight too. Mainly, well, I don't know. Was that a real glitch at the very end with water, or was that just a misunderstanding of how that fight
Yeah, it
worked?
was
Definitely.
Hell yeah, that was a glitch. Holy fuck. Fuck that fight. Fuck progging that fight.
Leaf knows it very, very well.
Dude, I had to prog with Crate. Like I'm there with
Oh, don't say
Kratar and
that,
we're
man.
wiping on this. Like, please, I want to get this prog over so I don't have to be with that guy anymore.
Bring back Midas, dude. What are you talking about?
Unlucky.
All right. So getting past the primals, and then I mean, after you get that, and you kind of have that accomplishment, they give you that whole transition scene, which of course everybody loves the first time, right? You love that whole transition going into Ultima, but then you're tired of sitting there for like a minute and a half after defeating the primals. Did you guys get really tired of that transition?
Oh yeah.
I didn't mind the break, to be honest.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. What was
Because I
fine
think to
because I
drink-
didn't have to press any LBs, so I could just like eat or drink something. Just
One
sit there.
time we had a powerful raid member go to the toilet and take a piss, come back afterwards.
Without washing his hands, by the way.
Without
Yeah,
washing
Martha.
his hands.
That is so not true.
Come
I also
on.
had
There's no way you have time to wash your hands in the time that.
You were gone
The
about
bathroom-
30 seconds.
The bathroom is right next door. Takes like 10 seconds.
funny thing. When we first got to that phase, nothing had to be said. Everyone knew the jobs, right? Like ILB, wedging LBs, or healer LBs, wedging LBs, Raptor LBs, and then as it goes on, like no healer LB, so it becomes remember to healer LB, and then Raptor just doesn't LB, and it becomes Raptor tank LB. I don't know, man.
People getting tilted when someone forgot the LB.
Pretty good.
How often did that happen where someone just completely forgot their LB?
Oh, we didn't let it happen more than once. Don't worry.
Yeah, we made sure of that.
It happened once on the tank LB, once on the healer LB, and also on the tank LB on the second Ultima, which is the worst.
I do not want to talk about that. Holy fuck.
Yeah,
I
that
was
one
so
is
mad for like
much.
almost an hour.
Do you guys have a sound clip?
Well, on the kill, you heard me say tank LB. Like, they just, I don't know, just add it in. Remember, tank LB, you one job.
Jesus. Alright. But I mean, overall, it was seeing that for the first time, seeing the Ultima transition, seeing, hearing Garuda scream when she's eaten, and then just kind of seeing what they did with the model for Ultima. It was pretty awesome. I think, like, I liked it better than Bahamut, I would even say. I don't know. What do you guys think about it?
Wait, you think this Ultima transition is cooler than Bahamut just fucking dropping
No
the
way.
moon on your raid?
Yes.
Like, I don't know.
Bahamut is way cooler.
Oh, all right.
Not all
Well,
day.
I guess not. I guess the model of Ultima seemed cooler to me than the model of Bahamut. No?
Yeah, the model's
No.
pretty cool, but his entrance is a bit lame compared to
What?
Bahamut.
It's fucking Bahamut. What are you talking about?
Super Saiyan Bahamut.
He's gold. Holy shit.
There's
Come on,
so much
G1.
more to Ultima. All right, yeah. Okay.
I like
He
them
doesn't
both
do
equally,
anything. He
to be honest.
fucking gets the Primal stirring for him. Fuck Ultima.
Actually, Phoenix coming to kick Bahamut's ass was a lot better than Bahamut just eating Garuda. I don't know.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good to throw that in there, a little bit of flair. I was really upset they didn't throw, what's his name? God, the bad guy, the main bad guy from A Realm Reborn. I always forget his name because I'm horrible at story. Gaius, yeah. I was kind of upset the Gaius didn't make an appearance anywhere in the fight.
Where would you put him though?
At the very end, screw it. You beat Ultima, and then you're like, oh, we did it. Half your team's dead. Then fucking Gaius just comes out and just one-shots each one of your team members, and you got to figure out how to deal with it.
I have to say,
He's like with
the
a
last
gun.
the last phase is probably the most lackluster apart from the visual impact of the Citadel Siege. But yeah, you probably could have stuck Gaius in there and it would have been better.
Actually, I was pretty disappointed that La Habrea only makes that sort of brief cameo where you just LB his face.
Yeah.
Yo,
In the MSQ, he's the one that's sort of powering up Ultima, and then
Oh.
yeah, I don't know.
there's this one thing that I really missed from this fight. Like, the Annihilation, Predation, and Suppression is surely a dance, but I wanted 9 billion match attack bits spawn
Oh, yeah.
on every side, and
What
you
happened?
cannot attack them. And they do like all sorts of AoEs, like frontal cones, back cones, whatever, like circles, huge circles, and then rectangles, and everything being thrown at individual players, and you just have to dodge, and then you have to do other shit at the same time, and then like airships flowing down. Like, that would have been amazing.
Just
I
add
think.
that to the transition while you have to melee LB. So good luck to the guy that has to melee LB.
Here's a question I thought as well. Because we were doing the fight, I didn't really hear the backlash, but was there any backlash to that you need a caster for this fight? Like the way they did the limit break?
I don't think so. I don't think anybody complained about it. Although, that doesn't make a good point, because I wasn't even
Like, will
thinking
they
about that.
continue- Like, will they continue this theme of, is that how they're planning to make caster, like, relevant, or?
I don't know. I mean, that's... Because, yeah, that would be impossible. You can't do a standard speedrun comp with this fight.
Or can you?
I don't know.
Oof.
It's
This is
still
to
pretty
figure
bad
out.
though. Like, imagine if a group all that way, and then they realize they need to swap job, or they can't play that job, so they just get kicked. Like, I don't know. Feels bad for those guys. Back to the bench.
I'm pretty sure every single caster, every single machinist knew how to play caster, because they were casters before they went machinist. Right?
Maybe.
Heaven's Sword? Yeah. Not in Stormblood.
Ah, okay.
I mean, it just doesn't make the fight more interesting, does it? It's just, it restricts some comms for no reason. That's all that happens.
Yeah, I didn't think about that as being a forced thing for casters, but yeah, you're right. I mean, unless if they did something a little bit different with how they could make it to where it was in a line, I guess,
Okay,
instead of a
yeah,
circle.
Yeah, like they should have just placed the match tick bits 3-3, like 3 north, 3 south.
Mm-hmm.
Easy fix.
Yeah, they could have done it. And then, do you think we would have still seen summoners in the fight?
Of course.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
Summoner is extremely powerful in this fight. Leith can talk.
I don't want things like if the reason that some groups need to bring a caster is just because for the LB, that's not the reason why I want groups to bring a caster. Do you know what I mean? Like,
That's true. No. I mean, the other thing, I don't know. It feels like, well, God, you need a melee, right? All right. You guys think that you would ever do this fight without a melee, though? I mean, that's kind of one of those standard things.
No, because you need the melee AB.
Well, I mean, without if that wasn't a requirement, all right.
Potentially you could, because a ranged player can have more uptime on the final phases.
I don't know if you'd run 4 of them. That sounds terrible.
I mean, if you run 4 range, then you don't have piercing. So 2 of your range is fucking terrible.
No.
Triple caster.
Triple caster.
Oh, triple caster.
Yeah.
Who wants a red mage in the group? What detriment class is that?
Hello?
Can you imagine how many?
We're talking
Oh my
double
God.
summoner black mage. What are you talking?
If it doesn't, then your LB get cooked.
Well, you're not gonna
No.
have a melee LB on the boss anyway, so who cares?
The B doesn't get cucked in this fight because you're generating it from cheesing. From the Primal ultimates, it's cheesing basically.
Mm-hmm. Which is why people are running 3 range, because the limit breaks weren't as vital, I think, to build up that gauge, so you could run 3 range without it hurting you, right? Am I stupid? Did I ask a stupid
You can
question?
run 3 range without any LB penalty anyway.
Really? God, when did they? Fuck, they changed that, didn't they?
the real question is, when is a black mage gonna clear this fight?
I mean,
When Skyline can do that.
the next time you guys clear, you guys are bringing a black mage, right?
Yeah, fucking won't be me. So good luck.
That would be Enrage, not clear.
I think our hopes and prayers are on Sphere's shoulders right now.
Yeah, do it for the team, friend.
Okay.
I don't want to make it into a caster show, but to design a fight like Ultima and have a class like Black Mage in the game, I don't know. Like the change that they made with Ashlosion, they made its cast, like its main filler spell, 1.5 seconds. I think they could, apply that to Black Mage in some way. Just my thoughts.
And people are like, do you even play this game for us? No, I remember having this conversation before. I remember going down this road before. I can't remember when. But yeah, about the 3 range. God, maybe it was so ingrained in my head because I was playing Machinist in 3.x. Then I was so upset about it that they were pretty much breaking it in the way of doing our team comp.
I think for A3 it was like that, right? But then they quickly reverted it when people complained.
Yeah.
So I remember.
Yeah, I remember that reversion happening. It's been stuck in my head forever. I don't know. And I just keep thinking about it. I don't remember them fixing it because I had to go to Scholar to next tier, so so screw it. All right. Well, enough of talk about Frosty's stupidity here. Let's move forward. All right. And talk about kind of how they did the mechanics going in Ultima, where they pretty much brought the trios back, but they did it with quads, right? Do you feel like that was kind of lazy, or are you guys okay with them doing that as just a normal mechanic of Ultimate?
I don't think it's a bad idea. It's generally the mechanical check of your players in that time period. A lot of these quads are what requires the most time to figure out, and it's probably the most engaging parts of this fight.
I think with the addition to the it actually having the Aether bar and how the Aether interacts with the end of the fight, they were good. Whereas the trios on Bahamut, the damage check on Bahamut was such a joke that as long as you didn't wipe to the mechanics, which was a forced party wipe, you could pretty much just limp through and LB and meet that check. Whereas this time, like I think on the reclay we had 1 death, but like 1 or 2 deaths maybe like might be a limit to clearing.
Okay.
I think they still kind of fall under the complaints some people had with trios where you can't attack the boss, but I think it's better this time because doing, what was it? Suppression, what was the first one? Predation, right? Doing those, you can't attack the boss, but you're also under a bit more stress than you were doing any trio, really. Because you're just trying to figure out the safe spot on predation, doing suppression, you never have any idea what's going on anyway.
I mean, after a while, people are going to get so used to it, they're not going to feel that pressure anymore. They're just going to remember they can't attack the boss. And so that will be a major complaint coming forward, I think.
I think it's fine for those kind of set pieces where you wouldn't have uptime as a melee anyway, like because they're so mechanically demanding, making you run across the entire room or whatever, that you'd be giving up all your DPS anyway. I don't mind that the boss isn't targetable all the time for those. And you still get the Annihilation quad, which you can attack the boss in, so I think that's fine.
Okay. So let's talk about predation, Cheese. This wanted to be a key point that you guys wanted to bring up.
I like it. Sounds good.
You like it? Okay.
You like it?
You're fucking AFK in a way, Mark. Like, come on. What's wrong with that?
I don't like it. I think they could have made predation a lot harder if you couldn't cheese it. But the ideal way to do it right now is simply to run to a cardinal marker away from Garuda and stay there with a lot of shielding. So it kind of removes like 2 steps of the phase, which is like first you have to identify the first safe spot from the first set of mechanics that goes out, and then you have to identify how can you transition from that spot into the second safe spot after the first set of mechanics have gone out. But that second part is just completely gone with the cheese, because you just eat a mechanic to the face.
Okay. So this is definitely a design flaw within the fight.
I think so, yeah. But I mean, it's whatever. It's part of the fight now.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so if you need 8 of 8 people to clear this mechanic to clear the fight, because the death is 4 either, and that gives you less time at the end. Like, having the most consistent strat is just gonna be like cheesing through it.
Do you guys feel like this fight is going to evolve over the next month or two to where we're going to find these little secret ways of doing this fight that take absolutely no skill and completely eliminate most of the difficulty?
I don't think so. One of the most annoying parts of the fight, which talks about, is the force push before suppression. And the lower that you can, if you can push at a time where he's doing a mechanic, be it like homing laser or his cleave, you'll get extra time to push below the 50. But if you're unlucky and you push in between that, it makes the last phase like just that much harder. That's one thing I don't like. Maybe people will find like a good way of like reliably pushing him really low, and that'll help to clear, I guess.
Okay. So I mean, I say that also because part of the difficulty of the fight was understanding how woke works, but that difficulty is completely gone for anyone that's progressing on it now. And so in the end, this fight's going to be mapped out way deeper than it was going through the prog. So I guess months afterwards, when the mid-core groups are getting into it, they're going to have probably... Do you think they're going to have an easier time on this fight, especially versus UCOP?
If they read a guide, yeah.
Yeah.
But then the thing is, I guess we said earlier, it's a puzzle, and like if you're trying to solve a puzzle, do you really want to like spoil yourself, or do you want to enjoy it? Solving a puzzle is usually not about the having it done. It's about like solving it, right? It's about actually putting in the thought into it. And I think it's the same way about this fight. Like, I usually said to people, if you want to actually experience this fight, do Garuda, Ifrit, and Titan, and La Habrea blind, and get to Ultima blind, And after that, I think it's safe to read a guide. But up to that point, I would not recommend to read a guide. You're gonna miss a lot of trolling this fight does.
It's gone. The trolling is gone. There is not going to be a single group. I can't even imagine a group that would do Ultimate, but somebody wouldn't read a guide before they do it.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, some groups are out there that just genuinely want to enjoy the content and have the experience.
But I mean, part of the skill level of being a player who could do Ultimate is knowing your information before you go into the fight. Like, this is just ingrained in people's minds. I can't see it. I can't see anyone who's... There might be... Okay, there'll be like 1 or 2, maybe 3 groups that do it. But I think for the most part, like even... I mean, when Arthas was doing his stream and they were going through and clearing and everything else, they had to completely rethink everything they did because they just looked at a video clear and they went out and start trying to copy all the mechanics that were there. They weren't figuring things out anymore. And I feel like that's just going to be throughout everyone who clears Ultimate now. So half the fun's gone.
Partly, but I'd still say in Ultimate there's some coordination checks where if you... Like, even if you... Like, say, for instance... If you don't understand why the people in the video have done what they've done, it's not going to help you just watching the video. You need to actually understand what you need to do and the different paths you need to take, like suppression specifically.
There was like this. There was this short time frame after the videos got released, where people claimed that many groups are going to clear now. To which I just said, like, no, that's definitely not going to be the case. And at the same time, certain people were also like saying, why did they soak orbs in Annihilation? Like, what do they mean by this? What the fuck's going on? And like, that's what I meant. Of course, it's now public information, but as the videos were released, no one knew like the correlation between orbs in the Annihilation phase and the orbs in the Etheric Boom phase.
The same thing kind of applies to Light Pillar on Suppression. If you just watched our video, you would not immediately know how Light Pillar is handled and that it always goes on the guy who gets no over mechanics.
Okay. So you guys think it's not that big of a deal and the fight isn't just going to be completely trivialized by future groups?
No, it's still an execution fight. The 6 minutes of Ultima, unless if you like have the best comp, you will go and have DPS issues potentially if you die too much. So it's still an execution check that you need to do correctly.
And that's what we were talking about last week. Oh, go ahead, Beginte.
Yeah, I still think that like fewer people will. I mean, more people will clear this fight compared to UCOB, because like UCOB is full of one-shot mechanics, insta-wipe, and I don't know. I think that fight will still be harder for like casual players that don't have like high consistency on mechanics.
But I think this fight requires more consistency of people's damage. Like, if people aren't pressing their buttons in the right order and doing the damage they should be doing, I think they'll still struggle nevertheless. Whereas mechanics in UCOB, like, after you do it so many times, you'll eventually get there.
Yeah, they will probably like reach the last phase more easily, but then they will be stuck because of the DPS check at the end, probably.
Yeah, speaking of that DPS check, I would not recommend doing the AWP pattern that we fucking did, because the damage that you need for that is higher than what some of the groups might have needed, let's say that.
Just bring a warrior, easy. Easy fight.
Jeez. Okay. So, at the very end of the fight, the Enrage isn't just a blanket, here you go, you die. It's them sucking you away one by one and killing you.
The most useless one goes first. The best goes last. That's how the mechanic works.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And they confirmed it.
Notice I was alive at the end. So.
Okay, I gotcha.
Okay.
So what about the times that you wiped because you went first? Do you think it's because you were most important?
Dude, I don't know. Never happened, mate. Can't comment on it. Ask one of these guys.
Didn't even see it too much. I think how many times did we see Enrage? 3-4 times until the clear?
3 or 4.
Yeah, I think 4.
Like one was at 27%, then one at 7%. I'm pretty sure.
I think we had
6.
2 around like 5 to 7, and then
And one
the
at
3% wipe,
Yeah,
and then we killed.
then we killed it. Yeah, it went like 27, 7, 3, and then clear, something like this.
Most of it was just getting comfortable with like the phase in general with healing and stuff, and then just pushing damage. Like,
We also just had to sit down and talk about like the tanks moving separately for some mechanics. Some melees get to do positionals because it turns out Monk hitting the boss from the front is not amazing.
Monk garbage class confirmed. Just throwing it out.
On this fight, do yourself a favor, don't bring a monk. Like, you
Oh,
heard it from
come
me.
on.
I made
Bring a
mistakes.
Can't believe the
Samurai.
golden monk doesn't even want to bring a monk.
Man, think how easy the jail would be if you had a samurai. Suppression would be
Like,
easy.
literally, play samurai, don't play monk.
Okay, all right. Promote samurai. That's good. That's good. I can deal with that.
I'm of the opinion you buff the carry, right? Like this happens in many games. You bring a monk, you're not buffing the carry because he ain't on top. Like you might as well not be there.
buff the
Buff
carry.
Robbie Carbon.
Ruby Carbuncle needs all the fucking buffs she can get. Holy fuck,
Needs
that girl,
the,
bro.
needs the fucking tether.
So
Give
what's
Robbie Carbuncle tether.
what's this joke about Ruby Carbuncle? I don't know it.
She had the last hit on the world's first go.
Oh, did
Yeah.
she?
Yeah, I get picked up. I can't hit anymore, and then she killed it. Well, there was dots there, so they could have potentially killed it, but Ruby Carbuncle takes all the glory.
We won't look into it. We won't look at the logs or anything. We'll just say she did it.
Well, according
like,
to the log, she
pops up in
killed
game.
it.
Yeah, we literally checked the battle log after the kill, and it said Ruby Carbuncle defeats the Ultima weapon.
Really?
So a primal killed the primal killer. Get fucked.
Oh shit! All right. So the Enrage overall, again, the style great. Yeah, why don't we have Ruby Carbuncle in here? I feel like we need to talk to them because they're
What?
the
Because can you imagine the weight of fucking 7 players on her back? You really think she's like up for an interview? She literally put Entropy on her back and fucking dragged them over the finish line.
Fuck. All right. So, but okay, this Enrage. Do you think that this was just a good style for them to choose? You don't care how it Enrage, or this was something they could probably do forward in the future? Because a lot of people said that they found it to be kind of like terrifying, like people just getting sucked up and screaming, and they're afraid they're about to be sucked up, and they don't know it's coming completely because it's not exactly in a predictable order. It's sort of predictable, not completely though.
The amount of yelling that has gone on in all of these clears is way higher than any other fucking fight in
Yeah.
this game, simply because you have like 15 or 20 seconds as a tanker or healer to just like fucking scream at the DPS to do their job.
You're just watching the health bar like deplete slower and slower and slower,
Mm-hmm.
and it just hangs at that 1%, and you're there with your fingers crossed, just praying.
The first time we saw it, we didn't even know it was the Enrage. Like, we were like jumping through the holes. We were like, pick me up, and you're like, oh shit, we're dying.
You guys just thought it was a mechanic that you had to figure out how
Pick
to
me up, I
release
need
people?
to be safe for this mechanic. Maybe you had to be picked up and like be immune to the attack or something like that.
But you're at like 1%. Maybe you guys were expecting
Oh,
guys to
fucking
come out.
We were not 1% the first
Oh,
time we
okay,
saw that.
okay.
We're like 20 something, 23 maybe.
We were like, please give me a
27, I
fucking
think.
damage buff. Holy shit.
Yeah, the summoner was not pushing enough there.
Yeah, sorry.
Did you guys actually go up under the circles and start jumping on him?
Oh yeah, I've got the
Yeah,
clip of our first time seeing Enrage on my YouTube, if you want me to link it.
Yeah, link it. Link it right now.
Once your chatbot like ban me.
Fuck. You caught me again, dude. Is that right? Did I do it right?
No.
Ayalizu with a U.
Oh, okay.
Want some catchy bass.
Alright. There we go.
He's just plugging for subs. Like, fuck this guy. Holy shit. Don't sub to this guy. He fucking sucks.
No,
Twitch
stop
Prime subs, dude. Okay.
Yeah, you can see us like jumping around. I'm not getting picked up. I'm very sad. I'm just jumping some more, and then people start dying.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. I'll let people watch that. We'll carry on from here. Overall, I guess this fight in particular, you guys said it was one of the best fights they've designed so far, and hopefully they'll make other ones. I guess. Do you guys want them to try to make fights similar to this fight, or you're just happy they're being inventive? You're just wanting a new inventive fight that they'll make next.
I think the design of this fight was good. Like the idea of them making mechanics that has like a prerequisite and like a different phase was pretty smart of them. And well, yeah, it's just a brain check. Figuring stuff like that out is a lot better. Whereas if you just place a mechanic in front of you and you assume that it's something in the room that's happening right now, like it's not as satisfying, so to speak. So I think that kind of design is really good, and they should maintain it. Not so much all the time, but like here and there, it's pretty good to experience.
Okay.
You can draw some parallels between this and Ultimate Coil, like with the 3 primals coming out and joining Ultima to do some set piece mechanics and stuff. But other than that, this fight feels very different to Ultimate Coil, and I think that's a good thing to keep it fresh, give us a different style of fight.
Okay. All right. So the other part we could talk about here, now that we kind of have that fight in its own little spot here, let's talk about the race in general. Again, like everybody here, the whole community blew up. At first, we were all depressed because of the woke mechanic. Everyone was like, this fight's too easy, what's Square Enix doing? And then we all woke up, right? Okay, we figured it out, we know what's going on. And then after that, no mechanics were said. No, it was just completely silent. And I think you guys were saying that it's mainly because the Twitch players were hitting walls on the primals and trying to figure that out. And so you guys weren't really expecting to hear much after you found out that people were just hitting those walls. It was just going to be completely quiet. You don't think it was because last time, right, people were tweeting out little pictures and saying stuff. All we heard were just jumbled, or we didn't hear it, we read jumbled, angry, frustrated tweets. So you don't think that maybe because of the woke mechanic that the raid scene got quiet to be a little bit more competitive?
I don't think so. A lot of the stuff was from streamers, and the stuff from you, I mean, that's just fucking NA people, like going ham on their Twitter.
I don't think anyone
Fucking
would
NA.
ever tweet anything useful that
No.
would like benefit anyone in the West.
No.
I tweeted a couple of reactions. We were like, what the fuck? Like, I think when we saw Enrage, I was like, what the fuck? And like sometimes when like landslides or Garuda feathers would like not go out because of the EU servers spiking, or like, the fuck are these servers? Is this really a thing?
Yeah, Titan doing a fucking double tap as well. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, one tweet actually we saw that concerned us was someone tweeted Voxer Claire taking 999k damage. And the problem is there are 2 points in that fight where you take the amount of damage. One is Etheric Boom or the Enrage. And they tweeted it like 1 hour before we saw Enrage one. And we were like, are they on Enrage? Did they just hit orbs? Oh shit, we have to hurry up.
Also, Solitary posted a tweet about like this quote saying like if like difficult things at the start will be easier at the end.
Garuda.
And I was like, oh, are they at the end? Holy shit, are they fast? And then this Roxa Claire tweet like about him taking 990k damage. I was like, holy fuck, these guys are like so far ahead, like we need to catch up. So yeah, it was a big scare.
And then we waited for 21 hours.
Every day, right?
Apparently.
We went back in time and started doing 21-hour days to catch up with later bells.
What was your standard raid day like? Seriously, going from day to day?
16,
Like-
I think.
Well, 16. It was 16 technically, but usually we had like breaks, we had like AFK times, like food, and sometimes DCs. I would say in total per day, actual raiding time was about 13 hours, I would say. Like, pure battling
Yeah,
and pressing
We
buttons.
talked a lot, I think.
Yeah.
Like, wasted some time.
12, 13 hours approximately. And I think the first day we slept a lot. I think we had like 9 to 10 hours sleep time. We went to bed at like 2 a.m. Woke up at like 10 server time, 11 server time. So that was quite a lot of time. And every following day we had always like 8 hours sleep.
Okay. I actually also heard, so when the race was going on, I heard that you guys were basically on Enrage, went to sleep, and then there were hints of other secret JP teams that were on Enrage, and they were still progging when you guys went to sleep.
Yeah.
I think there was wheelchair frogging on Enrage when we went to bed, like after our Enrage grind. Well, you can talk, Leith.
The thing is, like, we only carried on past the 16 hours because we saw Enrage, right? But there's only a certain amount of time that people can play to a good standard, and like 21 hours was like, fuck it. If I would have had to go past 21 hours, like, people would not have liked it, because
I mean, you would just keep wiping, yeah.
I mean, we weren't even inconsistent at mechanics, but before we went to bed, we hit a 3% Enrage on a perfectly clean one, basically. So it was just we were too tired to do damage.
Yeah. Then we went to sleep, almost one-shot it, and then, GG.
Okay.
Sometimes sleep is good.
Yeah. Sleep is actually very good for prog. But it's hard to sleep on that last day.
The thing is, right, if you need sleep and you're just going to stay awake for the sake of staying awake, if you go to sleep and lose, it's tough shit. Like, you should have just, like, do you know what I mean? You're either going to do it or you're not. Like, no one's superhuman either. You can't just be awake 24/7. Like, you need to think of your health and stuff. So if you go to sleep and you lose it while you're asleep, which is what happened with Stardom in the previous race, like, it's tough shit. Like, we woke up to find that the GP guys had killed it, and it's demoralizing. But I mean, you have to do it.
No, gotta be alive for the next. Well.
No. Never mind.
Never mind. I don't know when it's happening. Okay. Let's see. I guess like the community overall seemed to, I don't know, take the race pretty well. I mean, the streaming. Did you guys learn anything? Was there anything that you want to point out that you're like, if people didn't stream, we would have had more trouble with? Like, was there any mechanic? Was there any tips that you guys picked up on?
There was one specific thing that we did learn from streams, and that's what the buff does that the primals give us. We knew that, like as I said, like 8 hours in, we woke Garuda up, and then we went into Ifrit, and we did pick up the buff on our white mage. But we did not know, okay, so what does this actually do, until we saw a clip of someone using LB and getting a full AB3 back, to which we then figured out, okay, so it's probably going to be cast LB, and then whatever comes after, the heal LB.
Yeah, what Zephyr just said, and like we mentioned earlier, we only learned how to give Titan stacks from streams, and I think we should also give credit to streams for the late Garuda Awakening strat, because up until that point we were doing the early, and there's just no reason to do that.
Okay. So there you go. That's why you don't stream when you do World First, right?
Well, yeah, but I think overall I would say that the amount of streams made this fight like quicker to end. Let's pretend we didn't, like, of course, like, we had our own like ideas on like wakening the primals up, but let's say like if no group at all was streaming, like back in the days, it would have taken a lot longer for the majority of the people to figure that out, especially also like with the buff and like how to awaken Titan and stuff like that. The fight would have been definitely longer. I would assume add like 2 or 3 days in total if there was no stream at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you think it would take a full week, maybe, if no one was doing any streams on Ultima? All the serious teams kind of stayed quiet and kept all their stuff.
Not even all the serious teams, like every team. Like if there was no major stream like there was nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
There was like Mr. Happy that is, I mean, these groups aren't like completely bad, right? Like they're still good. And like you also have this JP team EDH, they're also good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
there's
not
hundreds of people in chat, and they're putting pictures out, and the more people that see it, the easier it is to figure things out.
Mhm.
Like if 100 people are in chat, like they're all retards, like one retard's got to be right. I don't know if they all say one thing.
Leaf, you're the fucking biggest troll. Like,
What?
Come on.
I didn't say your chat, did I? Holy shit.
Well, not my chat, because I'm not doing it. Leaf,
Okay.
come on, man. Come on, man. I'm doing PvP. We're all complete retards there, right?
I tried PvP. I can't get into the new PvP. I don't like it.
We're not going to have a PvP conversation right now on the World First show.
Okay.
We're just not going to do it. All right. So there is a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. We already talked about the World First here. Or not. Why do I keep saying World First? Like, I just interchange Ultima and World First constantly. But Ultima is not coming for a third fight so far. But the other thing that they mentioned that was in this interview, if you guys want to look at it, I can link the little Reddit post here. They talked about third-party tools in Ultima and how people were using it for goals, right? Or jails, however you want to pronounce it, I guess. And how they may, in the future, try to combat that by the timing and how they send packets and improve how the effects and the animations allow you to detect mechanics. How do you guys kind of feel about that?
Okay. So, the thing about ACT in World Puck is we have to try to even the playing field. And we have to play under the assumption that everybody is going to use ACT because, like, by this point, ACT is socially accepted for waiting, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody that's seriously waiting in this game that's just going to tell you, no, you can't use ACT. It's against the terms of service or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that sets it apart from something like Zoom Hack, which is currently not accepted like commonly, so you're not going to use it. That's just how it works. It's a community like regulated thing to use ACT and not use anything else. And the problem with trying to get rid of it is let's have this mental experiment of what if every group came together and decided we're not going to use ACT. How are you going to confirm that happened? Because you open OBS, you make it just record your game, you split your audio to only record like game audio and your TeamSpeak or whatever, and suddenly you can use ACT with overlays and triggers and nobody's going to find out.
Yeah.
And that's just going to cause more issues in itself because now everybody is accusing each other of using ACT. So being open about ACT usage is currently the most peaceful solution, and it kind of sucks for PS4 players, but it is what it is. What are you going to do about ACT at this point?
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. I mean, like, in my mind, in a perfect world, ACT just wouldn't be something that you could use in the game. That's crazy, because ACT is something that brings life to a lot of content here with high DPS and speedruns and everything else. But I think when you're going forward with fights, it kind of sucks because I have my own little personal disinterest in a program telling me to do mechanics because I like to try to recognize whatever they programmed into the fight itself to recognize these things. I
feel like that's a Final Fantasy bubble that people live in.
Yeah, the fantasy bubble.
No, I just mean like it's a bubble, and this might be the only MMO that they've played. Like,
most other MMOs are pretty good with third-party tools. They just let it happen, right?
I get what you're saying about not wanting ACT to like tell you what to do, but some people fucking need it. And if it was in this game, like more people might click content. That's real talk right there.
If it was in the game, more people might.
If ACT was like bigwigs or boss mods from World of Warcraft, might see more people improve in this game.
I mean,
Just gonna throw that out there.
it's true.
If-
we could.
If
It
right.
trivializes content. So
if an idiot is standing in X, but this thing blows a horn and tells him not to, I don't know.
I feel like that's just so boring to me. Like that's just like my personal interest too. It's just like
Okay. Idiot is standing in X, gets hit by it, dies, goes in next time. Idiot stands in X, dies.
then
Would
that's
you rather have
a skill.
big horn? I don't know.
I mean, that's the value of player if they can recognize not to stand in the fire. I mean, that's what it is. But having to have like a big thing scream at them. So basically, I'm looking at, and again, I'm not criticizing ACT usage because that's something the game needs. I'm just saying, in my own personal interest, when I'm looking at a screen and I'm doing content, if I had something that just went crazy and then they're like, all right, press the A key. All right, I pressed the A key. Press the D key. Okay, I pressed the D key. All right, you've cleared content. Congratulations. I wouldn't like that. But if I had,
which means you can opt out of it, right?
yeah, and so I opt out of it, and so I personally do that. But a lot of other people, and ACT is just one of the things that's part of the game, and I understand what it's done for the game because without ACT, this game would not have as many players. I think ACT brings a lot of life into the game because it brings repeatable content with people trying to do more DPS and people trying to optimize more, and ACT helps accomplish that.
If you don't want the other features of ACT in the game, like callouts and stuff, then they need to have an in-game, like they need a way of you telling how much damage you're doing in the fight at that moment. Not a fucking dummy like in some arbitrary place that you, like it's bullshit, right? Put a fucking parser in the game, and people probably like wouldn't use ACT.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
would still for the ACT callouts, but like if they could find a way to encrypt stuff and make so ACT can't figure it out, I'd be happy with just the parser.
I think I agree with
Personally.
that. The parser is something that's one of the things that brings life to the community is people having a big EP about how much damage they do. And if they can't do that, then they're just saying, all right, I clear content. They have nothing past the clearing of content.
Not only EP, and it's how do you know if you're bad if you don't know how much you're doing, right? Like,
I mean, can you kill the Stone Sea and Sky thing?
yeah, but then you go into a party with 700 people and the boss dies. You did good, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because you killed the Stone Sea Sky dummy.
Yeah.
Like, no.
No, I agree.
I mean, anyone can kill a dummy, but not everyone can do a dummy while dancing in circles around the room, you know?
No, it's true.
As soon as people have to do a mechanic, they stop pressing buttons.
Mr. Happy's past Aetheric Boom. He can do it, man.
But it's also worth mentioning on this fight that there was a lot of smoke and mirrors that stopped us using ACT for other mechanics, and it seems like they're trying at least to move us away from relying on ACT for stuff. So, for example, we have the Garuda shrieks every time she does her feather rain, which, you know, if we didn't have that audio cue, we'd probably have a trigger for it that tells us to move, just like we had for Twister.
No. Okay, hold on.
Well, they also disguise those packets, so you can't make a trigger for them. But
Hold on. Let me say one thing to this. I tried making a trigger for those feathers because I genuinely disliked putting on my sound effects. I cannot bear that. I usually want to listen to like calm music and just proc that way. And when I had to activate the sound effects, I was like, this is really terrible. So I tried making a trigger, and the way how this works is the earliest time you can get a trigger to work is when those AoEs are already on the ground. So if you hear the trigger go off, you're dead already. So yeah.
I mean, if there were no audio cue, there'd probably be a cast bar or something, some other indication, which we could probably make a trigger for.
But the sound cue is good. I just don't like turning on my sound effects.
The other thing is, like, there's no way to identify the light pillar target during the suppression sequence either, so people trying to do that with ACT will have to engage brain instead and figure out how the mechanic works. So it's literally just fighting jails in this fight that people use triggers for, and I think it's such a small part of the fight that they're maybe blowing it a bit out of proportion by complaining about it. But
I'm gonna tell you
Even the jails, it doesn't require a brain for people to say 1, 2, and 3. Like, It does. The trigger does nothing. It's just a visual thing. Like it helps you identify who has it.
They're trying to eliminate communication. That's what they're trying to do.
It's not really communication. Like all the trigger does is like it shows you who has it. Like sure you can make a priority system off that, but like it requires the same amount of effort of not knowing who has it and those 3 people just saying 1, 2, or 3. Like it takes the same amount of time to execute.
Isn't
You are
the
able
problem
to
that you can see the trigger going off before the visual indicator for the jail?
Yeah, you have about an extra second.
It's like 1 second, but I mean, if you've already like
I
changed
mean,
your
yeah, it's still
hesitated,
doable, but
you
like a
just
second is very valuable.
Yeah, you're talking about how we did it, but there are also there's an entire ACT plugin now for the jails where you just enter your names and I think it calls out your position as like an audio cue for you, which is a bit, it's a bit next level.
Right. Let's get on that hype, holy shit.
So, I mean, I guess that's my biggest gripe with ACT in general. I love. All right, so if at the very end of the fight you got like a scorecard and said how many times you died, what's your biggest hit, and everything that ACT provides, that'd be great.
We talked about points. Is that
Yeah,
what we're talking about.
We're talking
Who
about
has
points.
the most points?
Who's the better point person? Yeah.
Yo,
Who's the better
ask
player? Right.
Ask them who had the most points at the end of the pro. Ask them. Do it.
Who had the most points at the end of Prague?
Me.
Oh, really?
You mean Carbuncle?
I would have never guessed. With you egging me
mate.
that question on, that would have been you.
Points. You get points for like suggesting, strats and stuff. So if you hear someone like,
You guys have
know,
a
this
point
is-
system?
no, do we fair.
Okay.
Refresh my memory. There's no points for getting hit by a feather rain, right?
I don't know. I mean, this is one thing, right? I released how many wipes and how many hours we rated for, but the real stat I wanted to know is who had the most feather rains, like collection.
I mean, we don't need to look at the numbers there.
Well, we know, right? In our hearts, we know it was rough.
Excuse me.
I mean, Rafter gets hit by like 4 at the same time. So it's
Okay, that happened once.
when you take multiple at a time.
It's like you move out to like take the damage and bait the tornado, and then you dodge in to dodge the tornado, and you fucking melee are like stood all over the fucking place. Like, how are you supposed to know where that shit's dropping on the ground? You're like running around like crazy.
Basically, he has one job. Like, we don't give him any more jobs. He has one job. Right? He just stands in front of the fucking boss and gets hit by it. Pops cooldown sometimes, or we just give him what we call cooldowns, which are like our CDs, are Rafter's CDs, right? Because he can pop his own, and then he fucks up the one mechanic that he has to do. Like, I don't know. Tank LB,
What do you
dodging
mean?
plumes, damage.
I missed it once. Come on.
Yeah, one's too many.
All right. Well, I guess again going back to ACT, the biggest gripe is them giving you easy to do or trivializing mechanics. I don't like the fact that it tells you exactly what to do. I mean, if I could avoid that and still get all the information about how to be a better player when I messed up, what kind of DPS I did, what's my uptime, what's my APM, all those great things, great, right? But I don't know. I feel like that's the disheartening part of it.
So you're basically saying you want like a regulated version of ACT, then that's what you're saying.
Yes,
Kind of, right?
a regular without triggers.
Yeah,
That's
very
it.
much.
And I'd be completely content with that. Okay, so the other part, you know what? And this is we talked about this a little bit, and you said it basically. The community says what's acceptable and what's not acceptable when using cheating type tools, right? Like Zoom hack and everything else. Right now, the entire community constantly berates anyone who's in the world race because they consider them all hackers and cheaters and everything else. How much legitimacy would you put behind any of those comments? Dead silence.
What? You mean like?
Like,
Do I give a
I'm
fuck
thinking-
what people on Reddit? Like, I give a fuck what those people
Yeah,
say.
like
They can go
the
suck
thing
it.
is, like what I'll agree with them if I see evidence of anyone cheating. That's it. Like, why would we suspect each other just for the fun of it?
I
yeah.
think the stigma behind RFC at least is always going to be related to the housing thing. So there's like an easy jump off platform for that, and then there's the Amazon. Like there's a few things. Amazon vouchers. So I don't know. Like the cheating, I think. Like that's back burner. Holy shit, it's more housing stuff for us.
So you guys aren't on the cheating train, and the whole these guys are horrible people who make profit on being good raiders. It's you guys are the people who took over the housing market.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Okay, I got you. So how's housing going for you guys?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Job, Iowa.
You got your own? Okay. Jesus Christ, man. That whole fucking situation was 6-7 months ago, is that right?
Yeah, but the previous stuff, you remember when Kratos was on the show, how long the the garden drama and the Amazon stuff, like
Yeah.
people don't forget easily, and I can understand why they wouldn't forget that particular one. Like I'm joking about it, but yeah, I can understand people's feelings on it.
Nah. I don't know.
They can go fuck themselves, but I can understand the feelings.
Yeah, fuck them, but I get you. I get you, but fuck you. Fair
Yeah.
enough. All right. I don't know. I feel like people throw a lot of the hardcore raiders under the bus, and there's like a handful of people out there who are just horrible, bad egg people who apparently ruin the name of every person who goes in and tries to be a competitive raider. And it gets kind of frustrating after a while, because I'm not out there doing a lot of the same stuff these raiders are doing. I'm watching a lot of it, and I know a lot of the people who do it, and you guys aren't horrible people. Unless if you guys are really good at hiding this shit.
I mean,
Definitely
like,
really good at hiding that.
like, consider this: Aya streams, Leith streams, Rafter streams, I stream, Magenta streams.
Mhm.
Did Vox stream once? I don't know. Did you?
Liar as well.
Alaya streams. I think the only two people that haven't streamed are like Ayasa and Vox.
Cheers.
As far as I know.
Uh,
Like, if there was anything
Process
going
of
on,
elimination.
like, if there was anything going on, you would have seen it by now.
Yo, just look at FF logs. They fucking suck. How are they cheating? If they're cheating, they're not fucking doing it right. Holy
Oh yeah, and the
Oh, you're
close,
just not uploading
FF
your
logs as well.
logs, the cheating logs. You're only uploading the non-cheating logs, and that's why you
Oh
see
yeah,
it.
right. Exactly.
You're not at the
like,
top with your non-cheating logs.
Yeah, obviously we cleared Ultima once before. You know, like we one-shotted it, and then 60 minutes after we cleared it again on our ults, casually.
Just like that other team that, you know, they were trying to hide
this-
that they cleared it at all, right? And they just deleted their characters. They went crazy. Yeah.
I mean, people are bored, right? They need something to do.
You know, I am kind of curious though. A lot of times, I guess it'd be more for Sigmascape raids and stuff. Do you guys even have any value on alts at all within any of the races right now?
No.
No.
Like that whole
Ults
thing's
have been
gone.
worthless.
Only for the melee.
Yeah,
some
exactly.
extent. Everybody else, it's. I mean, you could make an argument that the standard of these raids, like Sigma Delta, they're probably not worth the effort and the amount of money that it costs to gear. Like, for instance, we geared 3 sets of characters for the, well, not initially, but we did free clears of Sigmascape, and in no way is one day of prog worth the cost of all the materia and the like 3 sets of gear. Like that content's fucking garbage. Like, like if the last tier is that, we'll probably stream it.
Okay. All right. So, do you guys want to hit these viewer questions? No.
I guess.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, we have this. It's kind of related to what we were talking about. It's one of the first questions we got. It's apparently from Square Enix Special Task Force here. They were wanting to know how beneficial Zoom Hack was for Aya and Zeppi.
Yo, there's a reason there wasn't a Sigmascape world first video from Zep's POV just thrown out there. You wheelchair boys in your one POV XG.
So I don't know. Like what? Why was Aya and Zeppi targeted in general for this? Was this because of wheelchair?
I don't know. I think Zephy and I just didn't upload clear POVs, so they were like, these people are zoom hacking. If you are legitimately concerned about me zoom hacking in the clear, you can DM me and I'll give you my last phase POV if you want.
What about the first phase?
I can find the first phase in my recordings too if you want.
Kakashi, God. If clicking is cheating, then Rafter would be a cheater, right?
Unlucky.
Just bad, man.
Okay, so let's see. I don't know if I understand this question. Oh, were you guys rating 21 hours a day? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course we were. We're not fucking casuals here.
Jesus.
I think we might have to stop memeing because people actually think this.
Yeah.
We only waited 21 hours on the day before the clear because we're just trying to kill it and it didn't work, so it was the 21-hour day.
This is a question from Momo. Are there any good memes during Prague? So, were there anything? No memes.
No.
What? Dude, Rafter's just a fucking walking meme, so use that for the whole pro.
Feels bad, man.
If you let me link something again, I can link a clip of Wafter telling us to focus up and then dying immediately.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Link that shit.
Hold on.
Don't be retards, focus up. Okay, Rafter.
I don't know if I
Focus
did
in.
that right. Hold on. There you go. Now you got it, dude. You got it. I don't want to have to like permit you again for now. I'll unmod you as soon as we're done though, because I don't trust you.
Okay. Yeah, that's a video of Wafter just eating shit after telling us to focus up.
And I think the best part is that even after he was dressed, he died a second time after the clip ends.
Look at this clip. How do I die to this? Like, I'm not even in that shit.
Just a bad
Like,
player,
this
I guess.
game is like cheating. I don't know.
This game's cheating. Talking about us cheating, the game's fucking cheating.
Oh yeah.
The game is fucking zoom hacking and using ACT.
How the fuck am I in that shit? Fuck this game.
What do you this isn't a question here. We already answered that. But I guess I could ask you guys how you guys feel about mods in the game, right? People actually modding the game so they can see Catgirl breast and such.
I have no insight whatsoever to this.
Each to their own, I guess.
Yeah.
I actually didn't even know that was a thing, but yeah.
You
Fair
did-
play to them.
You didn't know that was a thing?
No.
Leaf doesn't interact with the community. You have to know.
Yeah, I fucking hate the community.
The community's the worst, right, Leaf?
I hate everyone. You don't know this?
I mean, I like you, dude. Just
I love you too.
Oh, thank
Just
you.
you.
Oh man,
Just you.
that's why you're on my show. You've never been on a different show because you hate them, right?
I think Leith is a big fan of the Caster show.
Big
What?
fan of the caster show. Didn't get invited this time though, but yeah.
I mean, you want to be on the next one?
Do I fuck one? Maybe.
Put him on the next show.
Okay, let's see. Maybe I need to read the sentence before I ask anything here. Let's see, since most people are following streams updates, yeah. Okay, since most people were just following streams for updates on the fight, if possible, could anyone give us a timeline when the group reached each phase? So, when were your major hitting points at the end of each day?
Do you know this? Simon?
I've got no idea. I could like check the logs, but it would like take a while.
I could
Roughly,
check my...
just roughly what you think.
Don't ask me about time in Frog. Like time just happens.
Major cut blocks past primals was time wasted trying to get into the tornado on predation. I don't think the others kind of give any problems, did they?
The
Maybe
bombs
getting hit by
hit the-
Barry.
Yeah,
like
yeah, the
Barry to some
Barry.
extent, and then going back and figuring certain stuff out on Garuda, which made suppression, like figuring that shit out a lot easier.
It's in reference to the second part of that question, as in when
Mhm.
did we have we proc Annihilation due to the ether gauge.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was just after we hit Enrage the second time? Or third? Second or third time. Then we immediately went back and said, okay. Wait, did we clear it with 7722 or did we clear it with 5522? We cleared with 5522.
Yeah,
We
I think it
started.
was supposed to be that,
we
but
started-
it was like 6, I think.
Yeah, we started with like 7722, and then we were like, okay, so this might be too much. And then we went to 5522 on the clear. Like, so that was like after the second or third time on Enrage, so the day before the clear.
That's a lot of Aether on the bar, by the way, extra, and a lot less time that you get to fucking DPS the boss, so I wouldn't recommend doing that to anyone. Without an Astro, maybe.
Fucking Astros, man. They break the game, dude.
Astro's really good at the moment. No, it is. I honestly think that we should have maybe progged with an Astro. I think it's...
No, I'm
good.
sorry. I was reading the next question.
What, you're not laughing at my... What?
Sorry, dude. Sorry.
Yeah.
I wasn't listening to you. I
What
just...
the I'm a guest on your show and you're not even listening.
There's 7 guests on my show right now, Lee.
Yo, there's a
Come
reason I don't want to come to your fucking caster show.
Alright, dude, I'm sorry, man. Dude, I'm sorry. You know, and I feel like I want to apologize to Leaf right now for the slight I just gave him.
Okay.
And Leaf,
I accept your apology.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna ask this next question unless if you guys want to answer it as a meme.
Yeah, bring us the memes.
Okay. Will you publicly renounce Kakashi, Hataki, Entropy, Angered FC,
Fuck yourself. How about that?
and their roles in poaching players during Gordius with Amazon gift cards and the Halcyon Twitter drama Spat?
Yo, I was one of those Amazon gift card players, so what the fuck? JK.
Oh, jeez. You're right. People don't get over shit.
How long ago was that, though? Like, seriously?
I don't know, man.
3 years?
It's like 3 years, yeah.
Holy
2?
shit.
Oh yeah, actually more than 3 also. Almost.
Oh, okay, okay. So you guys you're all renouncing everybody and the FC right now, right?
Yeah, we're gonna branch off and make a new FC. Just called it World First.
World first.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Do you guys get a toll from basically doing the world race? How does that affect your personal lives? Is there any like bad that you get out of it, or are you guys just so well trained that it's just a part of it? It's not anything that you have to worry about.
In contrary to the public belief, I actually get something good out of it, because whenever I start prog, I prepare my food and like I get really, really healthy on prog and before prog. So that's like usually the time where I like actually start being really healthy for like months until the next prog. So
Yeah. Playing video games all day, not as hard as you think. Some people do that anyway.
It's true. There's a lot of people who take a week off and they just do nothing but play video games, but they're just playing like, Skyrim or something. Let's see. Already talked about this one. Okay, this might be good. What's your opinion on the best team comp for Ultima?
Not Monk.
Not
Yeah,
Monk.
not mine.
Okay.
I'm leveling Machinist right now. I'm not kidding.
Sounds like a detriment to me.
I
There's
think
the ninja.
the comp that Wheelchair ran without the red mage
Mhm.
is interesting. I'd go Warrior Dark and Astro Scholar.
I think in terms of tanks, at least when you're going in blind, you don't want to miss out on the Paladin really, and I think the Dark Knight was a good choice up until the end, but right now we're seeing a lot of success with Warrior Dark Knight, and I think that's really strong for this fight, especially because of the DPS check at the end.
It's by
Like
far
double-
the best tank.
Double
Paladin-
IR is like stupidly strong. I would suggest anyone doing this fight, do not do the fight with Paladin Dark Knight. Like bring a warrior, it doesn't matter if you have to bring a Dark Knight with that warrior or if you do warrior Paladin, like just bring a fucking warrior.
Wouldn't you say to some
Yeah.
extent, seeing as though you're sat on LBs, if you're really, really struggling with the damage check and you can work out the CDs, you could run double warrior as well? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I'm still usually a big fan of just having the diversity of the cooldown kits, of bringing 2 tanks. But yeah, like 2 warriors would be like just
Yeah, for sure.
an easy cruise through the last phase.
And with the Dark Knight Warrior comp where we share the Buster, like, a lot of the time you're just sitting on your cooldowns anyway. Like I throw them away on just raw auto attacks, but even
Yeah,
so,
now that
Dark Knight
it's
does a lot of
not
damage in
done,
that
like-
phase too.
But obviously, like blind, we just thought they were like tank busters, so and then until the end, and then we didn't change it because we were just used to cooldowning them.
Mm.
But yeah, the 2 buffs, the debuffs that the tank gets in the first phase of Ultima, you can share them with the party, and you don't have to blow a lot of tank CDs on them.
Okay.
So that opens up for like some, yeah, double warrior memes maybe.
Why not, dude?
Yeah, why not? Bring the damage.
Do you guys have any tips for someone going into Ultimate regarding like attitude and keeping up morale while going through the content? I guess this would be a good question direct towards non-hardcore groups, but like mid-core groups going through it. I don't know if you guys would be able to give that perspective, but that's the kind of groups that probably would use that advice, right?
I mean, it's. I would like to refer to what I said earlier about reading a guide. If you're a mid-core group and you don't really want to go hard on it, and you're just taking your time, and you're genuinely trying to enjoy this content, I would say do up to La Habrea blind. With Awakening the Primals, or like...
Don't they just want to
I guess I shouldn't say this, technically. Well, and then afterwards, just try to enjoy it and be constructive about it. Like, if people mess up and stuff, like, just enjoy it.
Okay. So do you guys have, this is from Ashlyn, do you guys have a good group atmosphere? Meaning, do you guys fight a lot in the raid, or are you guys generally positive overall when you're doing the mechanics and going through the fight?
We
We're
never
fighting for
fight
points.
the raid. Oh,
We're fighting for points. Laughter, please.
If you hear someone has a good idea, just talk over him and just like an idea how you get points.
I think this started when Magenta... I was AFK, and then Magenta came up
Whoa,
with
it
this
wasn't
thing
just
about
once,
standing...
man. It wasn't just once. Fuck off.
No, I mean when this started.
Okay.
I think I was AFK. Magenta came up with this thing like where you can stand in the center of the bombs, and like I saw this streamer
What do you
when I came
mean,
back. and
Magenta?
it's like,
Fuck. You're doing it again. What the fuck?
The points were officially contributed to Wagense, so feels
Feels
badly.
I was like, oh Magenta, you're a fucking genius.
And they would be
You
like,
stand in
what?
the center. And isn't how it started, yeah.
Feels bad, man.
We've just tries to take credit for every idea, and it's a problem because at some point we don't know which ideas were actually Leaf's, but
Dude, I felt like I had fucking 7 parrots raiding with me because you literally just said the same thing after me 10 minutes later. So. And I was just sat there like, are you fucking real? Like, is this real life? What is this? Pretty good. Feels bad, man. I'm underappreciated.
I'm so sorry. This is again, Lee. If you're talking as I'm reading through these the questions going forward,
You don't need to just let me think that you're laughing at my joke. Holy
I'm
shit!
so
Why did you need
sorry.
to...
Yeah, I was laughing at a mix. All right, it was half your joke and then half of the joke that's here as a question.
Okay, I'll take
Okay.
the pain.
It was for Aya Liz. Hi, I'm a melee DPS player. I love Monk, and I'm playing well, Monk, I thought, but there's less seats for Monk players on static recruitment. Sadly, I playing Dragoon on this raid again. Can you ask me how join the top raid team with your job, Monk? Was there any chances? Google Translate it.
You have to scam them really well.
Scam them?
Yeah.
Just play Dragoon so fucking bad that they'll rather you play a detriment class.
Yeah, basically
Like-
we.
If you've seen my Dragoon, you would know why I'm a monk.
Okay.
Zeppy, I need your help. We need to do O4S on Dragoon.
Will you guys lend a EU for World Prog or World First again? Miu doesn't work. Clearly doesn't count.
What?
I'm sorry. Let me read this again. Will you lend NA and EU for World First again? Muni doesn't count. Clearly doesn't work.
Yo, maybe. Sounds like the money's in NA at the moment, so people might go.
I think that's the meme where NA teams haven't gotten world first without at least one EU player.
Yeah, and then they immediately shit on Muni right afterwards.
Unlucky guy.
Unlucky guy.
Maybe next time.
How many Amazon gift cards will I receive for making an official Entropy PvP team for FanFest?
Are you gonna win?
Not me. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess the other person here. What's his name? Snappy Jet. Are you guys going to do a PvP team for Entropy?
I'm not Arab enough to answer that question.
No? Is that a no, I guess?
I honestly have no idea about what. Are you talking about the tournament where they're flying people to FanFest? I don't know if
The
anyone's
EU
that
one.
into PvP. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's actually that into PvP. I know Wedgent used to do quite a lot, but
Yeah, but not anymore. And also last time we tried, we got defeated on the fucking first match, so
yeah.
very unlucky.
You guys don't want to go for an official tournament that will be hosted for EU and say that you guys are a top PvP team.
I'd rather go to it for being world first of the hardest content that they've created, but I mean their priorities are different from mine, obviously.
I don't know, some people will say PvP is the hardest content created.
I'd say it's fucking garbage, but
Don't you have like 10 buttons in PvP now?
I'm going to tell you, man, they could make it one button and you'd still have people who are just complete garbage.
I'm not gonna argue with that.
Okay. Let's see. All right, let's see if we can get a different question.
no, ask it.
Okay, all right.
Ask it.
All right, this is from Demon. It was a really close world first between you getting carried and the undisputed best Dark Knight Valiant carrying his group. How do you feel after winning the race?
That's directed to Raph the Senpai, I think.
I have no comment on this matter.
Basically, if you're watching Violent and you want a group on EU, then slide into my DMs. might be able to work some out.
Oh, jeez. Guys, you're gonna make... fuck. This is why I don't talk about PvP on a PvE show. You guys are gonna have to... I'm gonna piss off everybody because I have to defend PvP at some point, but I'm not gonna do it, alright? This is not the PvP show. We're highlighting Ultimate. Sorry, chat. We're gonna go forward, though. Right? Alright? Guys, say PvP is great. Just do it for me.
PvP is fucking
I love
garbage in this
PvP.
game.
Come
holy
on,
shit.
come on. Somebody. Just say it.
PvP was great in 3.0, not anymore.
Jesus
You know what PvP
Christ.
is to me? An ADS mount. That's it.
I guess you don't got a wheelchair mount. What can I say? Guess who does have a wheelchair mount?
Do you?
Yeah?
How much was it? Did you buy it from Lithium?
Nah. I earned that shit, dude. Oh, Jesus. All right. We'll go past it. What difference have you noticed on each tank in the fight? Well, no, I guess we kind of answered this. Dark Knight's not overbuffed for it, right?
Dark Knight is really strong on this fight.
Yeah.
It's the
Dark
best
Knight.
tank. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dark
yeah?
Knight's best tank on this fight, hands down. Like Dark Mind is disgusting on this fight.
So basically, you guys are saying this is kind of like A12S.
There's just so much magic that makes Dark Knight really, really good.
Don't think it's as bad as Heavensward when Paladin didn't have anything to deal with magic, but it's just Dark Knight is just too strong. They have so many cooldowns.
Yeah, everything Ultima does is magic. So Dark Mind is really, really strong, especially the buffed version that you don't even have to Dark Arts it.
TBN also in Prog has like these uses if you use it. Like you can cover for people's mistakes as well as use it for like tank busters, corruption, negation. It's really good. Dark Knight as Prog tank, it's good.
Warrior is also fantastic, as mentioned, for the last phase damage, because, you know, a 2-minute burn phase is, yeah, great for a warrior getting 2 inner releases.
I just think it's easier to get to the last phase with a Dark Knight, and I mean, if you're not entirely terrible, you can do the DPS check without a warrior, regardless.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, there's nothing stopping you changing your tank comp at the end. Like you generally have the same role, right? You're taking the same busters. You just work your cooldowns around it if you need to.
One thing I'll say is if you decide to not run a ninja and you have a white mage, you're gonna be in for some fun.
Good luck.
Do you guys feel like this is the downfall of Paladin being top tier for meta picks?
I guess Fox and so on.
Blind, no. But I think there's more options now. I think even for progression, like for teams doing progression, you can pick the option without the Paladin.
Which is
but
good, right?
I probably wouldn't do Paladin. Like I probably wouldn't do Blind without Paladin.
Okay.
I would say from a healing perspective, I'm glad we progged with Paladin Dark Knight. Because the warrior needs a bit more attention from healers in the earlier phases of the fight, but you can't deny that its last phase damage more than makes up for it.
Okay. Now that we had a serious question here, let's get back to the bullshit. This is from an armchair raider. Is it true that EG and EM are part of a deadly RMT cell circle whose main purpose is to destroy the Final Fantasy XIV content selling scene for honest guild sellers?
Yep, you found us out. Good job.
Exposed.
Next question.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I didn't even have time to read the next one. Hold on. Okay, I'm just going to read it. During this phase, we found that having this job was easier because of this ability. What's your opinion on this, and do you feel it matters enough to carry this job throughout the entire fight?
Wait, isn't that a meme because that's a question you asked earlier, and now he's just putting it in here?
Yeah, exactly. It's 100% a meme.
Amazing.
Nice.
I guess people are paying attention, man. As World Progression Group, how do you deal with misinformation like Titan cannot be awoken and that type of shit that we've seen during day 1 and day 2? Did you guys see that?
No.
I think so. We did see that now. Pretty sure someone mentioned about Titan not being awoken, but
I mean,
it just
at the
wouldn't make
time
sense, did it?
we just didn't know how to give him a stack, but it like didn't make sense that only he couldn't be awoken, and there was also a voice line for him being awoken in the data mine, so it just wasn't adding up to claim that.
Okay. Oh, okay. Here's another question. Some people were a little bit upset about you guys releasing videos when you guys did. So the question is, there's any reason why you guys released the videos so early, especially for a fight like this where there's a lot of time was spent figuring out the mechanics?
How this actually went out is wheelchair cleared, and I talked to Sindalf about basically how their team felt about releasing it, and streams were already really far into the fight. Like, I know that the third and fourth group that cleared already figured out how the orbs correlate to each other, like the etheroplasm orbs and the etheric boom orbs. So that's basically the last thing you quote-unquote figure out. The only last thing after that would be how to correctly do the ether gauge, but that's really like one pull and that's it. So it was like, how do you guys feel about releasing the video? And they were fine with it. and they respected like what the first team wanted, and I think the consensus in this team was, well, the streams are far, so might as well release them.
Yeah, my opinion is, even if we released it like a day or two later when Layla's group killed it, it would have dictated the rankings in any way. Like, it would be the same as it is now. Layla's group wouldn't have learned anything from it because they were already ahead anyway. So, like, it wouldn't have changed nothing.
Right. And the fourth team was a stream team. Anyways.
No.
So...
No.
No?
No, that was
Fourth team was year second.
Oh yeah, sorry. Fuck. Where is it? Actually, no, it wasn't until the 8th. Holy shit, I thought it was all earlier. Yeah, EDH didn't clear until number 8.
And they, I know that because the warrior in that group, he talked to me about the etheroplasms, and he asked me, okay, is this idea right? I was like, I don't want to spoiler you, but you're pretty much on it. And yeah, like they basically had that already.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, it was literally a day after the 4th clear that the stream actually cleared it. So it just wasn't far afterwards. It was like after the 4th clear, we had, let's see, I think 4 clears happened within like just a handful of hours of each other. And EDH being one of them, which is the first one I think that was actually streamed. The 4th clear with Katy Perry playlist.
Oh yeah.
Was actually the first non FC group to clear. I think that's what was kind of stood out for me at least.
Yeah, I think I was, when I saw it, I was surprised. I didn't even know they were in, and they did really well.
No. All right, so let's get over to these shitty questions again. Liz, how many housing awards is optimal to clear Ultima?
Why me?
I don't know, man.
You're the cheater of the group, no? Yeah, exactly.
I don't have an answer to this.
Okay.
2.
Okay. To each member, what's the toughest part of the fight for you personally? So do you guys have like separate opinions on what kind of was most difficult for you to execute each fight or each attempt?
Paying attention to press tank Kobe.
Oh,
pretty hard.
Okay.
I mean, suppression was the mechanic that took the longest, but I don't think as a tank it's very difficult to execute. I AFK for like 10 seconds, I press a Shieldron, and then I move to the jail and hit the fast blade, and that's it.
I don't know if
Which
it,
is the most depressing on melee, when you get light pillar and you're just running across the room and watch your friends blow up the jail, hopefully. Sometimes they don't.
I don't know if it was difficult, but the way that we did the last plumes into the landslide on Titan, that strat, you could get some pretty horrendous baits, and you see me and was it you, Spence, or was it Elia? You see
dies
two
to
of
it.
us die to the horrendous like bait on that one. I think that was kind of annoying when like it kind of happened quite frequently.
I died to it on the reclear though, so
Yeah, it happened a lot near the like at the end, but we could still like get through the Titan phase, and yeah, we just never changed it, I guess.
The other parts of the fight are quite, I don't want to say scripted, but yeah.
For me personally, most of this fight is pretty comfy. Widow to Titan is like usually the part of the fight where I go on other Twitch streams and chat a bit. Only part of this fight that actually scared me on prog is that stupid Titan chain. I hate that. I really do.
The bomb chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I was really good at that mechanic.
Lucky boy, always in the same position. Yeah, that one was for me as well, like the hardest, I think.
Yeah, like Legend and I were in the middle of the priority system, so we could get 1, 2, or 3. Meanwhile, Leaf over here could only get position 3. So he was always doing the same thing if he got marked.
Hey, I didn't make the overlay. I didn't make it. It just happened to be at the end.
I didn't trust you enough to have to make choices. So.
Yep, put the dummies where they don't have to think.
I mean, that's the smartest choice. I mean, that's what I would have done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What question here isn't a baited question?
Well, we accept all questions that are entry. Don't discriminate.
Okay. Frosty, that's a nice blazer. Where'd you get it from? This is from Rack Room. If you guys are looking for a blazer and you want cheap, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see. Today, let's you know what? I'm gonna save this one. I want this to be one of the last things that we talk about. I'm gonna hold off on that dude right there.
Is it a goodie?
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. It's a pretty good one that's not completely relevant to Ultima. So we'll go to it a little bit later. I guess we kind of already talked about your thoughts and theories on the Enrage fight with Bubbles. You guys were saying
I released the. Well, I guess one of our theories was that this thing, like we all knew that Citadel Siege is still existing, like, but what the fuck does it actually do? So there were theories going around, and like until we actually saw it, it looks epic, but we totally did not expect this.
No. Okay. What is the best way to do orbs in Annihilation for Boom? How many people take each orb?
Fucking one of each, and tank will be it.
There you go.
I think 3-3-1-1 is good, because then you're not forced to throw out all your like mitigation tools there, like the crit at low, the veils, the troubadours, everything.
Okay, let me
you have
reword it.
You have time to like Q3 in between and stuff.
If your DPS is shit, 1-1-1-1 the tank will be. If they can press buttons, then you can do something else.
Yeah, it's like 3-3 instead of the 1-1 gives you enough time to get a heal on each group, but it only costs you 4 ether, which is basically like a death, and it's like 1 GCD maybe at the end that you lose by doing it.
But you see these wipes, like what people are reporting from Mr. Happy, where it's like 1 dot tick and stuff, and that's the gain that you're getting, right? You're getting, if you're bursting for 60k at the end, then you're getting somewhat near that. That's the difference. So
yeah, if you can deal with the last phase with all the mitigation tools blown, maybe it's better to just do 1-1-1-1.
Okay. How many knife members did you guys have?
According to the public belief, we had at least 18 analysts.
Oh, okay.
18? I thought it was 19.
Oh, wait, did we forget one?
yeah, fucking Shahib, holy shit.
Oh, wow.
Shout out to Shahib Mustafa, that guy, holy shit. What?
Yeah, okay. It's like that joke never goes away. How many watermelons did you have?
I had 2 watermelons, and Vox also had 2 watermelons. Very important to mention. We were
2 within 5 seconds of each other, right?
No. We had some across the entire progression. I had 2 watermelons. Vox was like between instances. He was like sending me tells like, Aya, how long does watermelon last in the fridge? And I was the watermelon expert over here. I had to answer his questions for how to eat his watermelons.
You were supposed to know.
I'm sorry, Vox.
Because like I bought them 2 days before proc, so I was like on day 3 of proc. Does this shit actually like last? Like how long does this last? But
fucking watermelon,
I didn't want
shake
to like.
to the grave.
Okay, there we go.
Didn't want to eat bad watermelon.
Oh. It's fucking. That joke's. Is that going to be the. I hope. You know what? I hope there's more wholesome jokes out there. Like watermelon eating instead of cheating and lawn drama and like Zoom hacks. Let's talk about watermelons more. How fast did you eat your watermelons, Aya?
I took my time. Like, the thing about watermelon is you can just eat it between pulls, you can eat it during the LB3 transitions, so it depended how fast we wiped, how much watermelon I had at that current time.
I knew how much watermelon he was eating when I looked at the damage meter and saw he was like practically fucking healing the boss.
Do you eat the watermelon while you're playing? Are you like eating it and then like juices are going on your hands and they're all over your keyboards and mouse and everything else?
No. I'm not like eating with my bare hands.
You just like grab
face in it like.
Then you have like a strat where you didn't need to like dedicate a lot of time to eating between pulse? Like
mean-
with the cutting of the watermelon?
I mean, there's two metrics for eating watermelon, right? There's one for convenience of preparing the watermelon, and one metric for how easy it is to eat. So the strat for easy preparation is to just cut in half, and then you can eat it with a spoon. Or if you want to eat it between GCDs, you have to cut it into cubes, but then it's very easy to eat.
Oh, like you fucking skip some GCDs while you're eating it. Oh.
Feels bad, man.
A lot of these questions here, I don't know. I guess this is a good one. This is from the EM Council. They want to know if you'll take Miyu back.
It kind of feels like EU and NA are like playing Miyuni hot potato. He's like going back and forth.
Yeah. Fucking keep him.
You guys don't like all the honey yellow?
Just keep him.
Alright, we already talked about that. I guess this is a straightforward question, right? How do you guys approach ultimate suppression and predation? I'm watching Mr. Happy stream and it looks pretty confusing. I mean, that would be a pretty big conversation, right?
I think we have a good answer for predation. We did see monkeys and typewriters thread of just telling everybody to go do your own thing, and if you survive, tell us how you did it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's gonna figure it out eventually if you do it often enough.
Okay. How do you feel about the JP teams? Do you feel like they underperformed? I mean, it's kind of... We can't really say anything about the JP teams, right? We don't know.
Here's the thing, right? What? I know that the Exocrats guys won. Can you remember when the next one was? Like the next JP team?
You mean after they won the Ultimate, the next...
Yeah, I know that Lucrezia won UCUB, but when was the next JP team? Because it was us then.
It was 5th, I think, and then Owen was 6th.
Yeah, so if they're not raiding, then like it's fine now. Like it's the same for those teams.
Let me... I have it on record, man. If you guys want to know the rankings of teams during World Races, there's a website.
Where can we go?
There's a website that you could go to, man. It's XX. No, hold on, that's the wrong type of website.
Oh, come on.
It's FFXIVprogress.com. You can go there and you can look at this stuff. And funny enough, if I go to that website right now,
where did Entropy finish last Ultimate?
Let's see, Unending Coil. When we look at the JP team here, the first one is Unknown.
Okay. Yeah, then it's who?
Then it's Owen. Then it's 5150.
Yeah, so it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, if that group's not there, then the other JP teams, like, it's the same, no? Like,
right. Yeah.
What was that other URL that started with XXX? what was that one?
Apon?
It's the Rule 32 Final Fantasy 14 website. Is it 32 or 34? I don't remember what the thing is.
Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I was talking earlier, but apparently...
I didn't hear you then.
I was talking about predation and suppression.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
I was
it was amazing.
I was
we were all like, whoa.
I
didn't hear you.
Oh, well, I was just saying on predation, like, first approach was if you can bait landslide, and on suppression, we just made a diagram and then went forward with that.
Yeah, the big thing on suppression was knowing that you only needed the tank and the marked person for the Garuda Mistral song. I like opened up where people could be and stuff. Nice.
Okay. Are you good, Zep? Sorry, I totally didn't hear you when you were doing it.
No, I think my microphone didn't go off.
Okay.
That's
okay.
cool. Yeah.
All right, I'd feel horrible if you were actually talking and I just said, I don't care about you. Let's talk about ERP and JP progression. No. We already answered this question here. You guys definitely stayed hydrated during Prague, especially with the watermelons. They provide a lot of water. That's why they're called a watermelon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watermelon is the most efficient progression fruit. Changed my mind.
Okay. Let's see. we already kind of answered that question. Why did Leaf leave Stardom?
Huh? Why did I leave Stardom?
Yeah.
It was decided that Stardom wasn't going to do Sigmascape, and we weren't actually gonna keep clearing Ultimate Coil. And then Rafter, he one of those ex-girlfriends that begs you to come back, like he showed up at my door on his knees, raining, and he was like, "Leave, please. We're third, we're shit. What can we do without you?" And then he wired me some money, and then there we go.
And then you came back, and we were still third in Sigma.
Yeah, and then I thought, wow, hit up Harry. I was like, Stardom, 4.3, and he was like, no. So yeah, that's why. That's the whole story.
Okay. Let's ask these two questions that I have highlighted here in orange. One, which we kind of talked about a little bit already. I don't even know what trigonometry is. Is that like a...
The icons.
It's an ACT plugin.
Oh, it's just an ACT plugin?
Yeah, it's an extension of the normal triggers that lets you do a bit more.
Okay. I don't know. I guess that's something that everybody just uses now and that people are okay with.
Yeah, there hasn't really been an ACT plugin that just outraged people so far. Maybe we'll see that in the future.
Yeah. And we already talked about zoom hacks and everything, and ultra wide monitors. Do you guys all have ultra wide monitors?
No, but they it's good. Whenever I see a streaming one, it looks pretty nice.
Oh, okay.
Ultra wide monitors have an advantage on the eFoot transition from Gorilla to eFoot.
Okay.
Yeah. You already see left and right. What is the safe spot?
Right. Well, I mean, there's nothing that could be done about that, and I can't really. I don't know. I don't want to have this. We already had this conversation on the show. Different.
It is what it is, right? You get what you pay for, don't you? If you pay for a PS4, then yeah, unlucky. You pay for a PC, yeah, GG. Pay for an ultra-wide monitor, yeah, GG.
Okay. And this is the other question here. Today, Reddit's internal investigators found out that Elysium, the NA first rating FC, broke the TOS by selling content. Needless to say, I am shocked. I can't believe the people around me are such scumbags. I can't bring myself to look them in the eye anymore. What happened to the company? I found it. This is from Goka.
I don't know. We were just as shocked to, learn that free companies sell content. I don't know how people can do that.
Yeah, that is a shocking news.
Mm-hmm.
We have to stop all contact with these people.
Hopefully they can do something, to recover their image in the community like we have. But, good luck to them.
I mean, if we wanted to even talk about it seriously, when people are selling raid clears, I don't know what. There's nothing to do to fix that. There's no way to just say people don't do it, right? People get bored in the game, and then they go out and they help people get the legend title or the ultimate legend title. And to me, I can't really be too upset about that in raids, because it's just a fight. It's just people buy shit all the time. I guess if you're looking at it that way, it's like cheapening the clears for other people who work hard for it. Yeah?
We've already talked about many grey areas that happen in this game. It's another grey area, and it depends on your own personal ethics, right? And what you believe in and what you believe should and shouldn't happen in game. So, yeah.
That's true. All right. Fair enough. You guys want to just leave it at that?
Unless it's anyone else that, it is what it is. Is it really a surprise to people? This has been going on for different games for years, right? People who have money, who don't want to put the time in, are willing to pay money to clear content.
Mm-hmm.
Newsflash, it happens. You don't have to like it, but it does. If Square Enix can put in measures to counteract it, fine. It is what it is. Get over it.
I mean, would you guys be upset if Square Enix came and started banning people for it?
And it's the risk you take, right?
Yeah.
Nothing is done without risk. Like if they started saying, if they said they can detect ACT and they're going to start banning people if they use it, would everyone stop using it? I don't think so. You'd probably just run the risk, right?
Well, unless if it was pretty obvious that they could see people from then and you just get banned for it. You know you'd get banned if you use it. That would be the difference. If people don't believe they'll get banned for it, they're going to do it anyways, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the thing. If it was to the point to where Square Enix wanted to stop it, they could stop it.
But they don't.
Yeah. I mean it's sad. It's
Yeah.
sad in the way that like it's I guess I was thinking about it in a different term too, because you know people also sell PvP content, which is really just stupid to me. But
The PV, like, how to, I don't know how you draw a line in a grey area, but the PvP stuff is one time only, right? As far as I'm aware. I think, isn't it the mounts and stuff that they're not obtainable, are they, after that season?
Yeah, and so for the top 100, I mean, you get a different color of it later on, which is something they probably should introduce as a way for people to get that content, you know, later down the line, through a means of some other event, or put it on the purchase station or something, just like a different variation. But I mean, like with PvP content, I feel like it's kind of rough to sell that stuff because it's limited.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
the difference between like the PV content and like a one-time thing. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's a great area.
Yeah.
Some PvP in general is just bad anyway, because if you influence the people that are trying to like gain in the top 100, it sucks for them. But if you sell like a raid content and they get a shiny weapon, like who the fuck cares? Like,
Yeah,
you're not impacting anyone else.
Exactly. That doesn't really affect anything. But if you're selling like PvP content, then you're pushing out other people. Like one person has like 5 or 6 different characters that don't deserve to be there when the one character should be there. And then so 5 or 6 people don't get to go into the top 100.
This is what I mean about drawing a line in the grey area, right? Like,
Mhm.
you need to just apply what you personally believe to this and what you think, right?
Hmm. Okay.
There's plenty of other people who are trying to draw a line in the sand, saying, "Oh, it's okay if you sell for gil, but you can't sell for real money." But
I mean, we
you're
do that
naive
with
if you
hacks.
think that the people who are buying it for upwards of like 100 million gil or something are getting that money like on their
From
own.
RMT, yeah.
Yeah, they're just going straight to RMT and buying it from them. So
Mhm.
you're still complicit in the RMT actions, even if you're trying to keep your hands clean.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also this other thing. It's probably pretty great to talk about it, but like the fact that they still exist just means they're successful. There are tons of Jill setting services, tons of them, in-game, wherever. Like, I know so many casual friends, and like midcore people and midcore friends that I've like met throughout my time playing this game, and they all bought Jill. All of them. Like 90% of the people I know bought Jill. So like
they bought Gil?
Yeah, they bought Jill from those services.
Oh, they bought, yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Like so many people do that. So yeah.
It's been going on for a long time, by the way. Like, I remember when I first started playing the game and when Mod Owner was a mud pit and you couldn't afford your repairs, like people were buying money from RMC then as well. Like if they haven't stamped it out now, like it's not gonna get removed.
Well, I mean, and that's a whole nother conversation too. Does the GM team need to step up their game and start doing stuff? Do they need to start going in there and actually trying to find people who are doing the stuff that is really dark? It's not gray. It's pretty much pitch black. Do they need to start doing something about it so it would discourage people? Is that where we need to put the focus on? Is, hey, do we need to go for how Square Enix and the moderation team are enforcing this stuff, or do we just say screw it, just let it happen?
It's clear that they can't keep up with it. Like they can't ban.
Can they not keep up with it?
I mean, they tried to. At
You
least.
see? Holy shit!
I mean, at least with the PvP stuff, when there was a lot of drama on EU servers with people selling PvP, like a lot of those sellers got banned. So like they do try, I guess.
Oh yeah, they can chase the individuals doing sales, but like they can't keep the bots out of the game.
I mean, yeah. There's some limits to what they can do. But I'm just going to give you an example here. And just because I'm so involved with the whole PvP world, I know you can't relate to it completely, but you can understand the concept of what I'm talking about. And so the PvP community has players who will go into a match and then they will intentionally lose the match, right? They just so the other team wins, or they're trying to grief the other people, so they rank down. They're trying to do whatever they can. They're going over there, not playing and participating in a match to hurt other people by their rank. And this isn't huge. This is like 4 or 5 people. There's like 4 or 5 people who go in and do this on like every data center. But they ruin it. They create this whole bad perception of PvP in general that they detract people from going in there, because then they start relating it to people who cheat or win throw or do whatever else. And the way that you can tell they're doing it is because they're not even moving. These people aren't even trying to hide what they're doing. They're literally, they just sit there and then they jump around, they do whatever else. And when this is reported to the GM team, they do nothing. It's not something that's hard to catch. It's very, very easy to catch. And it's not me being critical on the GM team and what tools they have and everything else. It's literally just looking at a match and being able to tell what's happening. That's not a tool that I can imagine that GMs don't have. And to be able to do the research to go into a couple of matches this player does to see that they're win throwing doesn't make any sense. So that's why I'm putting the onus on the GM team right now for what they're not doing in the game to help improve certain aspects.
I mean, the GM team works in a very mysterious way anyway. I've had multiple occasions where people did really bad stuff and it got reported, but like never anything happened. And then at the same time, you have this one person in Limsa who uses the Mikote/happy emote 20 times too much, gets reported once, and gets an insta jail teleport and gets a warning. Like, how is this a thing?
Or you think it's on a whim kind of thing?
I think no, it's if it's easy.
Oh,
right? So if it's like, oh, there's something in chat, oh, this is super obvious, oh, I don't even have to think, I can just click a button. They don't have to research, they don't have to look for it. Then they do it. But if there's something that's... Go ahead.
So he just goes to Limsa, meets his quota, then AFKs for the day. Is that what you're saying?
I almost think that. I mean, I don't really know. So in one of the GM reports I put in recently towards like some other situation about someone win throwing and trying to screw up PvP, they literally responded saying there's already a call open for it. So the GM team is a call center. That's just people taking these calls, and they're not really doing anything about it. They're just like, okay, yeah, a call is open for it, and that threw me off. I don't know. That's why I've given up on if something needs to happen, that Square Enix has to step in and just start making this shit. Like if they want to do a PvP tournament, they have to get people in there to make it legitimate.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my little rant. Fuck.
Yeah, I don't mind. Like
No, I mean,
last time I said it was Paladin, now it's PvP.
Yeah, I completely agree with you as well, Frosty.
Yeah.
There are plenty of players who have, repeatedly cheated just in PvE as well, and nothing's been done about them. And it came down to Kira really to ban those people from FF logs.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the
So they
summoners
wouldn't appear on the rankings.
There's a black mage,
summoners.
right?
Ruinfall. No, it was summoners with Ruin 4 thing as
Most
well.
recently it was, the Worm Wave and
It's
Ruin
always
4, I think.
NA players for some reason.
Always fucking NA players. Screwing everything up.
Why.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, that's it. My rant's over with that. I do have another question I think we can answer. Let's see. I don't have any fucking more questions. Never mind. Never mind.
Wait, someone in chat saying Wormwave now? Is that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, my way.
Okay,
Yeah. Wormwave is a thing right now?
interesting.
Yeah, there was a pass about some summoner doing like 9 billion worm waves.
Is that how you did so much damage in Proc Leaf?
Oof.
Oh shit, man! You've got them onto me. Holy fuck! They're gonna go through my.
I don't know. I was
log
just looking at the ACT numbers, and they seem really high.
No.
Here's the thing. I hope people don't start looking at my logs like people look at rafters, because then they might find things. Think rafter.
No comment.
No comment.
All right. We've been going for about 2.5 hours now. It's probably getting close to wrap up time, and I don't see any more good questions here. Fucking what's best Final Fantasy 14 Wafu?
Oh, that question is good.
Come on. All right. Answer it. Go.
Do it.
Aya does it.
What do we do?
Aya has to answer that. Read it.
Which question?
What is the best Final Fantasy 14 waifu?
No. The two ones above.
Oh, the ones above it? Hold
I
on.
already answered. How to slice watermelon? I already told you this.
God, watermelon's done, dude. We beat that into the ground. It's a dead horse. It's just... it's over. No more watermelon. Okay.
What's he gonna do in winter? No.
All right. We're done. I think we had enough questions today. We talked a lot about it. But I do want to ask you guys, before we're done with everything, if there's anything else that maybe we didn't go over, it's something that you want to talk about, just put out there your peace of mind during Ultimate, during the race, during anything else.
Guess not.
I guess not. Huh?
Well, holy shit, no, let's speak. I just, thanks Square Enix for the content. It was really good. I think it was, at least in my opinion, an improvement on Ultima Kyle, like the direction that they took, and thank my FC and congratulate the teams that have cleared it up till now and the guys working on it.
Yeah.
Some MogTalks get translated into Japanese, so maybe something we say might reach Yoshida, but
Oh, yeah.
please reconsider only 2 ultimates per expansion. That'd be great if we could get 3, because we'll be very bored in a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Please make 3.
No, make 4.
Make
Just keep making
4.4. Make Omega into an ultimate, please.
Yeah. Okay. So basically you'd end on Sephiroth for the normal raid, and then you go to Omega for the ultimate raid. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Or Gaius. I mean, just bring Gaius. I don't care. Alright. So, with that being said, I want you guys to do not just your final award. So, we know, please, if this gets translated, the biggest thing here is please let there be a third Ultimate this expansion. Don't give up on that. It's such a positive thing for the game that you'll be throwing away money, basically, by not doing it. But for you guys, is there any shout-outs that you guys would like to do?
Yep, shout out to Ruby Carbon Core. Peace.
Ruby Carbon. Is that it?
So that's to my friends on the Balance Discord, as always.
Okay.
Shout out to my Homeland FC on Cerberus and special member Nyari with a big brain.
Okay.
Shout out to all the memers in Twitch chat and on the Balance Discord, and a shout out to Keen.
Okay.
I guess shout out to RFC, the competition for this tier. It was fun, and all the friends of mine and supporters of the FC.
Okay. So I'll do my own shout out too. That's not a MogTalk thing completely. I definitely want to do a shout out to Guinea Bear. Right? Guinea Bear. What do you guys think about Guinea Bear?
Who?
You guys don't know
Who?
anything about Guinea? Oh, okay. All right.
Who's that?
All right. Does Guinea Bear do anything for you? It sounds like he doesn't do anything for you guys at all.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. Are you guys just gonna keep that up?
Looks like
Hopefully.
I will say, all right, look, I will say, Guinea Bear in particular came to me after the Sigmascape race. And he actually proposed and tried to promote me doing the Final Fantasy XIV progress website. and he worked with me to push and just kind of get that going in that direction. So he had a lot of encouragement, and a lot of what he said is the reason why that website even started, even though that website's not even done. It's just there in my very basic amateur web development state. But I don't think that I would have it even moving if he didn't help start the ball of excitement to get that going. So there's that.
Yeah, shout out to Game Guy.
The
hero we got, not the one we needed.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Bear's done a lot of work for this FC, so we're actually really grateful to have him.
What does he do?
He pretty much like single-handedly organized all of our like FanFest and Gamescom stuff like that we did as an FC. So man did a lot of work to ensure that people were able to go and we were able to meet each other in real life and everything. So
okay,
big props to him.
Good. You guys read the notes for me to be as awkward as possible about shouting him out, so I really appreciate that.
Dude, he who asks should not get shouted out. Just throwing it out there. Holy fuck.
Vox, what were you saying? Sorry.
I was just saying, big fan.
Big
Big fan of that guy.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I think he's shouting me lots of messages to stop. So we'll stop for now. All right. Anything else, guys? We're good, right? This has been a good World First show. God, you guys better not give me any more silence. I want every single second up until we finish completely to have some sort of noise. So if I stop talking, you guys have to start just picking it up and just say something. It doesn't matter.
You know who has to talk? Magenta.
You mentioned this is a world first kill and you're shouting more dots. This is
Crocodile. Go, go, go.
Yeah, I have nothing to say.
Push.
Shut
No more
up!
Italian, please.
Oh, are you guys going to be at NA FanFest?
I don't think so.
Don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
Okay, you just going to the EU?
Maybe.
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 Really? Okay. All right.
Maybe if Yoshi P wants to fly us out there, we'll be there. What do you think about that?
Get good at PvP.
Okay. I'm lucky then. I won't be there.
Get your Robbie Carter to get good at PvP.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate you all taking the time out. It always means a lot that you guys do in these races to come and talk to me. And I know a couple of you guys, of course, were here last week, or not last week, but a couple of weeks ago before the race even started. And I appreciate you guys giving me your time then too. I do want to shout out everybody that was here in chat today. Thank you guys for coming to watch it. Shout out to everybody who's supporting the stream, everybody who's supporting the website, Final Fantasy 14 Progress.com. Shout outs to Carrara, my emotional support in the background that you guys never see. Shout outs to Andre Kane for the music that you guys hear in the beginning and the end of the show. And shout outs to Blizzana for the layout that I loosely base the layout on, at least. And I kind of rip it apart. Yeah, we'll see what happens next week. I kind of want to see how the progress works throughout the week. And then we may be having another show based around Ultima, depending on what news breaks. So we'll see. Guys, you want to all say... I don't think there's anything else for you guys to say unless you want to advertise your streams.
No.
No?
Thanks for having us.
Okay.
Yeah,
Of course. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. Remember to be good, to keep cool, and to, of course, stay frosty, right? Bye! Do it. Everybody say bye. No, any more.
Bye.
Okay, that was good. I'll go with that.